as they strive to protect our freedom. May we never forget those who have died defending our freedom and this great nation. In Christ's name, amen.
Here to honor America, please welcome former military officer Mary Ann Hotelling as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it one more time for Mary.
The NASCAR family remembering former team owner Steve Turner, who passed away Thursday. Well respected, running in the Xfinity Series and Camping World Truck Series. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the KC flight team. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. And the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, which you'll see in 2 weeks on FS1, right around the corner. Fans can vote a driver into the field. Visit NASCAR.com/SprintFanVote or the NASCAR mobile app to cast your vote. Vote daily. And remember, votes shared via Facebook and Twitter count double, and they changed the format. 3 segments, 2 50 segments, and then a 13-lap shootout. Those fans are ready to see some of the drivers in the All-Star race. Tony Stewart, no more relief driving for him. He's 71 points out of 30th. He needs to win a race, be in the top 30 to get into the chase, and this is final year. He needs to average a 26th place finish. And Brad Keselowski, who won last week, first win with Team Penske, came here on this track 5 years ago. And Brad trying to win back-to-back races for only the second time in his career. George Brett, the great Royal, is part of the great scene here in KC.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Kansas City Royals Hall of Famer and Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, George Brett.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yeah, let's bring in the guys who will call the races. They always do. Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Mike Joy. And Mike, we've had tremendous finishes this season. And here in Kansas, 15 of the races have ended with a margin of less than a second, a margin of victory. We're hoping for another good one tonight.
And a big finish last night in the truck race to get this weekend started. Hall of Famers down on the grid and up here. Darrell Waltrip and 4-time champ Jeff Gordon. Talladega, we had them 4 wide, 3 rows deep. And this track is even wider than Talladega. Start, restarts, big concern?
Well, we saw some aggressive driving at Talladega. Look for that to continue here at Kansas. It's just so inviting. That extra room that you mentioned, it's hard to believe that this track is wider, but it really is. Track position extremely important here at Kansas. You want to take some risk and make some gains? Go do it on the restarts.
Yeah. You always wonder, Darrell, when one team or one manufacturer gets on a roll and become showstoppers.
Yeah, the Toyotas right now are the talk of the garage. The dominance of the Gibbs cars. We got Gibbs cars starting with Truex on the pole, but 2 Gibbs cars starting first, second, and third. And I know owners and drivers right now are wondering, how can we stop this freight train? It's a runaway train right now, and a lot of guys are worried.
Got a lot of trains around Kansas City, a lot of barbecue, and a good bit of the blues as we get ready to race.
On to Kansas City, here I come. Got a crazy way of living there, I wanna get me some.
Great Plains, great racing action. It's the Go Bowling 400 on FS1. And our thanks to the folks at Fox Business Network for loaning us their network so we could bring you the pre-race show while the Cubs Nationals game finished up at Wrigley here on FS1. They're rolling off of pit road. Let's have a look at the Geico starting grid for tonight's race. Martin Truex Jr., first pole in 4 seasons. Matt Kenseth, twice a Kansas winner. Denny Hamlin, the 2012 winner, and Kurt Busch, top 10 in both Kansas races last year. Brad Keselowski won here in 2011. Kyle Busch, one of only 3 tracks where he's not won a Cup race. Ryan Blaney makes his Cup debut at Kansas in this race in 2014. Ryan Newman, the 2003 winner. Ricky Stenhouse and Trevor Bayne in a pair of fast Roush Fenway Fords. And Paul Menard and Carl Edwards looking for his first ever win at his home track. Rookie Chase Elliott, top 5 in 3 of the last 4 races. Joey Logano won 2 of the last 3 races here.
What do you say we dial up the pole setter for tonight's race? Martin Truex Jr. It's DW. You got us, buddy?
I got you, DW.
Martin, I mean, could it go any better? You're on the pole. You've got that #1 pit stall, and you are overdue. Is tonight you get it done, pal?
Well, I sure hope so. It's been a good weekend so far for Bass Pro Shops, Tractor Boats, Toyota. We'll see if we can do everything right tonight and put it in victory circle. But proud of my guys, proud of our team and our efforts. And, there's no guarantees. We've got to earn it. So we're going to work hard. We're going to try to do the right things all night long, and hopefully we'll get the outcome we deserve.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. And now we're going to talk to your crew chief, Cole Pern. Cole, are you there, buddy?
I got you, DW.
Cole, you're in this perfect spot. You got that #1 pit stall. What's your biggest concern for tonight?
We're just, kind of get a direction on where the track's going to be at. We practiced in the daytime yesterday, and it's going to be cooling off a lot tonight and rubbering in a lot more. So just kind of see where the handling is going to go, and, hopefully we did right so far and have a good night.
All right, guys. Well, good luck to you. Thanks for talking to us, and take that thing to the house.
Thank you.
Let's get down to pit road as we get ready to race in Kansas, beginning with Vince Welch.
Well, tonight, Matt Kenseth starts on the front row for the 3rd time this season. He's led laps in 9 of the 10 races, but that's where the good news ends. It's been 11 years since Kenseth has gone this deep into the season without a top 5 finish. Will tonight just be another in that string of frustrating results, or will this be the night the 20 team realizes the fruits of their labor and celebrate in victory lane? Stay tuned. Matt Yoakum.
Vince, Kurt Busch hoping to give his mother Gay an early Mother's Day present by scoring his first win here at the Kansas Speedway. He's had speed on intermediate racetracks this year, winning poles at Las Vegas and Atlanta, leading laps early, but he couldn't put the entire race together to close the deal. That's what Tony Gibson is focused on. He'll roll off from the 4th position. Jamie?
Well, Kyle Busch is winless at just 3 tracks in NASCAR. One of those places is right here in Kansas. In fact, historically, this has been a very tough track for him to put his arms around. And that's why when I talked to his crew chief, Adam Stevens, he told me what a big deal it would be for Kyle to win here tonight. Kyle likes to check off those little boxes. And he also said with this new aero package and this new tire, the car shouldn't be as edgy as in the past. And that could be just what Kyle needs tonight. Larry Mack?
Jamie, under green flag conditions, this pit road is one of the toughest on the circuit to get onto. It's easy to completely miss the entrance, and it's hard to get the car woe down. In fact, our of those was on the entrance of pit road, so we really need to watch pit road. Now let's on our 1 to 5 grip level of the racetrack, the most we go to 4.5 into the rear of the field for a rear end gear change. Casey Mears in that 13.
By Golf Smith, 82 degrees ambient, a little more wind than we've seen this weekend. Track temperature cooler than practice, 104 was about 121 during practice. Sunset for this twilight race about an hour and a half from now.
Mike, Jeff, I was watching the 78. He just went to the outside. practice scenario, it looked like it was the fastest.
Yeah, you can really hold down that person on the inside and get a big run off of turn 2. It's a little risky. You got to really be on the gas hard out there and carry that momentum, but probably a pretty smart move.
They're out on the 26th. As we get ready to go green.
I got to say, you know what, Matt?
Seems like the start of the race, they are in agreement. It's in the closing laps. What's the deal?
Amen.
Coach Gibbs has cars starting 2nd, 3rd, and 6th, and 12th.
I just expect this start of this race to be wild.
Yeah, watch for them to get on the apron early. Maybe not here on the original start, but even it's going to happen throughout the night on restarts. They're going to take every inch of this racetrack all the way to the grass if they need to.
Yeah, remember the leader, you can't beat the leader to the line on the initial start. So they're coming down here. Flagman's got his hand on the honorary starter's shoulder. He's looking to feel over. Hold them, hold them. Green flag, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Kenseth was first into turn 3, but Truex forges ahead. He's going to lead the first lap. They're double wide for 3rd. Kurt Busch and Denny Hamlin.
Did you see how aggressive Martin Truex Jr. had to be going into turn 3? He didn't clear Kenseth off of 2, but he knew he was going to get it done going into 3.
Yeah, he had the momentum up high off of 2. It gave him a lot of straightaway speed, and the middle groove's been really good all through practice and qualifying. In the 3rd and 4th turn.
That fight's not over for 3rd. Oh, yes, it is. Kurt Busch on the high side.
Boy, the middle and high side of turns 3 and 4 look to really be carrying a lot more momentum than that bottom line. I heard a lot of drivers saying how hard it is to get the car to the white line in 3 and 4 and keep it there.
Keselowski and Newman for 6th. Ryan Blaney right with them.
Boy, I'll say that 21 car Blaney, and hope Dave's doing all right. Dave, hope you're feeling good, buddy. Sorry about last night. But looks like Blaney's on the move.
Yeah, Ryan's dad had a bad flip at Eldora in his sprint car. They took him to the hospital, shaken and stirred, and released.
We talk about jumping the cushion sometimes in NASCAR. He really jumped the cushion.
He did.
13th place, Joey Logano, Carl Edwards.
You know, one thing I'm looking at right now is just that track temperature. It's warm outside, track temperature over 100 degrees. That's going to change dramatically as that sun goes down here, and you're going to see a much different feel in the race car as you do right now.
The 3 didn't get off the corner well, Austin Dillon, and that gave Almirola the opportunity to jump underneath, and they went 3 wide down the backstretch.
I say watch that 14 car tonight, too. They've been getting that car a little bit better, and I think Tony's excited about being in it. Watch that 14. Might have a pretty good night.
No relief driver for Tony Stewart. He's in the seat to stay, he says.
He didn't have a good time. The last year, both races here, he finished in the 30th, so he didn't have good runs here last year, but that car's a lot better now.
You can see the 3's just having a little bit of trouble right now, keeping the car on the bottom. Now the 16 of Biffle's going to get to the inside of him. Here comes the 24, Chase Elliott, as well.
Clint Boyer has dropped to the back of the pack, slowed. The car was weaving a bit like it might have had a tire going down, but now he continues in 38th. Now that yellow line, that is advisory. That is not out of bounds. That's because it's not there. It's a white line, folks. You can see that. We don't have the yellow line like at Daytona and Talladega. The white line is advisory. 24th, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. New colors on the 88 this week with Danica Patrick. Carl Edwards started 12th, running 13th. Here's some team audio.
Oh, I am tight, buddy. About a 3 tight, 3.5 tight. Yeah, really, it just feels like the front tires are rock hard. I'm not hitting the splitter or anything.
So I'm pretty sure that's on a scale from 1 to 5. He's saying a 3.5. That means the front tires aren't doing much work at all for him. They're going to be making some big adjustments, or maybe as the sun goes down, that will start to come to him.
I think if he moved up, possibly it might help him a little bit, Jamie.
Well, and you guys, in talking to crew chiefs, nobody really knew what the track was going to do tonight, if it was going to free up or tighten up. And yesterday, Carl Edwards in practice too loose. Then in qualifying, he got too tight, and he qualified the worst of the Gibbs cars. So this isn't a good sign that he's already starting out so tight.
Remember, practice and qualifying held in the morning and early afternoon, and then qualifying about 5 p.m. So in full sun. We've got a light overcast today, not full sun on the racetrack, and it's a bit cooler and will get cooler yet. Martin Truex Jr. looks like he has hit the afterburner. He's opened up 1.6 seconds on Matt Kenseth and is not looking back.
No, Mike, he's in a league of all of his own. He's about 3 to 4 tenths quicker every lap.
And he did this last year in this race. He dominated this race, came up short at the end, but I think he's got something to say about it this year again.
All right, we'll keep it right here. You won't miss a lap.
Watch him really close on these guys, especially down here 1 and 2. Or not.
13 laps complete, and on every one of them, Martin Truex has been at least 2 tenths faster than the competition. You saw Ryan Newman go into 5th ahead of a fading Denny Hamlin. Hamlin's car is tight, and you're riding along with Kevin Harvick, who is up 10 positions now from his 26th place starting spot.
Yeah, I talked to Kevin Harvick down on the grid before the grid walk, and he said, we don't know what we have. We changed 3 of the 4 springs. We also changed the sway bar and all the shocks. I said, so you're confident? He said, I'm not sure.
I think he is now, Michael. His car is rolling around the bottom like no other car I've seen out there other than maybe Martin Truex Jr. out front.
Yeah, Harvick's right where he loves to be a bottom feeder. He runs that bottom, and when he's got that car hooked up, he's awesome.
Fellas, when have we last seen a race that after just 15 laps had a driver with a 3-second lead?
Not much this year.
Not at all. But I do think a lot of things are going to change. You know, this is a night race, but it started out pretty much during the day. So I think a lot of adjustments are going to be made on this first pit stop throughout this race.
And Mike's a little bit different tire combination than what the teams run here last year. It may take a long run to see what we can do to these tires to help our cars.
Well, we're seeing some really good cars like Denny Hamlin right here in the 11 really struggling. I think that's a car that's going to be making some big adjustments. Looks like he's really tight.
Yeah, Denny's not putting up much of a fight right now. He knows he's in trouble. Just kind of ride it out. They get that first pit stop.
And he's tried every groove out there. I've seen on the bottom, the middle, the top. None of them are working for him right now.
You saw Brad Keselowski move to 7th ahead of Hamlin. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in red and yellow this week.
Hey,
22nd battling Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson's running the high line, guys.
Now listen, if he can get that high line working like we've seen him do in the past, he's going to make this thing super exciting for us tonight, especially on those restarts.
I think he can do it. He loves to be up next to that fence.
And then he goes down to the white line on the bottom of the next corner.
He's searching.
No, it seems like that always happens. Every time we talk about him, he does that.
Well, at least it's not a yellow line.
He's up high down here in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I think he's feeling his car out right now. Where do I make the best lap time?
There he goes back to the top in front of Dale Jr.
11th place, Joey Logano moving his Ford underneath and past Paul Menard's Chevy. Matt?
Logano still working the bottom. Crew chief Todd Gordon told me they know this first run. They're just going to have to survive until the track starts to rubber in and that groove widens out. They've already told Joey the 42 has moved up, trying to work in that high side. Though Vince, he's tight. He's having to run the bottom.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars looking for some help right now, including the 24. Chase Elliott started 13th. He's lost 8 spots. Says he's chattering the front end so badly he's got to back up the corner so much just to get through the middle, and it's just not working. They need a pit stop in a bad way. Jamie?
And Denny Hamlin, same deal. He started 3rd. He slipped back to 8th, and you guys noted it. He is tight. He's just trying to find anything that'll help with the speed. They unloaded yesterday a little off. They made big changes to this race car. They're just hoping for a top 5. It's been 6 races since that last happened.
Thanks, Jamie. 20 laps in, Larry. Can you remember a time a driver took off from the green with a 4-second lead over just 20 laps?
I have not seen that in a long time, but I go back to the practice sessions yesterday and then throw in the fact of sitting on the pole. The only driver we thought that Mike could keep pace with him is back there running second, Matt Kenseth, but no, it's been a long time. Obviously, Martin Truex Jr., Cole Pern, they have nailed it. My question, they have to keep up with this racetrack. They're going to have to make changes every time they hit pit road, especially once we get into the nighttime.
Yeah, Larry, I think back to Texas, and Martin had a dominant car, led 141 laps. And we got a caution here, guys. Got a caution.
Debris in turn 4 has put us under the first caution of the day, and that erases what had become a 4.4 second lead for Martin Truex.
Boy, that's a very welcome caution for a lot of drivers and teams out there that were struggling with the handling. They just completely missed the setup to start this race.
I think they're anticipating the later in the evening when the track changes, it'll be better then.
Well, and DW, it's so difficult to dial these cars in when you're practicing in the heat of the day and then the sun goes down. This is the coolest track tip they've probably had, and it's only going to get cooler.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we've heard, and Larry can jump in there if he wants, that the cars get looser at night. So if you're pretty tight right now, it might play right into your hands.
But DW, I think they anticipated them being a little freer even to start this race than what it's ended up being.
Track truck goes out to pick up a piece of debris about 1 lane up off the bottom in turn 4. First caution today. There it is. Here's a look at tonight's Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford has won at least one of the 2 Kansas Cup races 3 of the last 4 years. Joey Logano, driving a Ford for Roger Penske, has won 2 of the last 3 here.
They won here last fall after a bit of a confrontation with the 20 car, but he won.
A little bit of duct hose.
Yeah, it looked like somebody lost a brake duct hose.
And pit road will open this time after 23 laps.
5 on, 5 off, boys.
Yes, and that could play in tonight. Now at Talladega, you had to wait for the fueler, so there was no rush to get those 5 back on. Here, this could play in, and dire penalties if a car leaves the pit without 5 lug nuts on each wheel. Vince?
Matt Kenseth will be coming in from the second place position. The crew really likes this pit box. They've got an open exit. Matt says the car fired off tight. He doesn't really like the way it feels from the left front to the right rear, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, chassis adjustment as well on the 20 of Matt Kenseth. Jamie?
And the 18 of Kyle Busch says he's just a little free. The first time I've heard that tonight. Controllable rear slide, but he's okay with it. He likes the car. Right side, Matt.
Kurt Busch telling Tony Gibson his car this first run, the first 22 laps on the tight side, they're going to shuffle the air pressures in the front to try to free him up. Meanwhile, Martin Truex Jr., he's going to lose the battle off pit road to the 19. He was free from center to exit.
And there goes a wheel. Here's your Advanced Auto Parts race off pit road. Kyle Busch picks up 3, Carl Edwards 10 with 2 tires.
Pick to find time to leave me loose.
That's definitely going to be a penalty.
That's got no lug nuts on that bad boy.
You got to have 5 glued up, 5 off, and 5 on every corner.
So that's what happened, DW.
Okay.
Yeah, the 18 and the 19 both took 2.
Roger.
Let's document who took 2 and 4.
Good.
If we can.
Here's the lineup after 26 laps, and after Busch and Edwards took just 2 tires on their pit stops, they go to the front of the field. Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Regan Smith, both too fast exiting down pit road. And the loose tire apparently did not have a home.
I think it's because it
here's
got
why.
hit.
Yeah, that was the coming around the rear on the 13. I think the 2 got a hold of it, and he's the one that knocked it out
Exactly.
there.
Yeah, the 13 of Casey Mears apparently did not lose control of the tire. As the 2 pulled out from his pit stall, he knocked the tire loose and out of the pit box. It thus becomes a no call in NASCAR's view. Not the fault of the 13 and the 2 not charged. So here's our first restart of the night.
I think now they know what they had on the racetrack. Now they know how important track position is. Now I think you're going to see them ramp up the aggressiveness.
Be interested to see if that 78 can jump back out there like he did on the start.
Josh Wise got the free pass, and Kyle Busch takes off. 4 Camrys at the front of the field, and 3 wide right behind them. Kurt Busch breaks out. Here comes Hamlin. Here comes Kurt Busch right into the fray.
Wow, what a run through 1 and 2 on the bottom by Kurt Busch.
Those Busch guys, I mean, those 2 Busch brothers, they are incredible on restarts.
Incredibly aggressive.
Yes.
It works.
And the sun hasn't even gone down yet. We're just getting started. Now Martin Truex has 4 tires. He and Kurt Busch are coming after the 2 leaders who took just 2 tires on their stop.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of fall off in the lap times like I would think with the tire that's laying rubber like this, a little bit softer compound. So I think 2 tires is a good call here, especially if you're going to get out front and have good track position and clean air.
And I'm corrected. Matt Kenseth, we're told, took 4. Carl Edwards took 2 along with Kyle Busch.
And that surprised me a little bit on the 19 because he was complaining about his car plowing, but apparently they felt like track position was more important than 4 tires.
Brad Keselowski in the 2 takes 8th from Ryan Newman. Casey Kane had to restart back in the pack. They made a second pit stop to remove a Packer on the right front. Jamie McMurray is being posted to come down pit road. Apparently an unapproved body adjustment on his pit stop was detected. So he'll be coming in to fix that.
So what that tells me is that somebody pulled on a panel on the body. I'm just speculating on this, but Larry, do you have any more on that? Have you seen what happened?
I did not see what happened, but what they'll have to do, they'll have to come to pit road and they'll have to repair that until they satisfy NASCAR that it's back to the original configuration. Obviously, a track this speed, they're doing all they can to get downforce, and right now the flagman has the black flag with the right cross, which means you can keep running, but we're not scoring you.
Wonder if the jackman happened to accidentally fall into the side of the car.
That's been known to happen.
I've seen that. I mean, this left side skirt's certainly flared up. That usually happens.
Penalty here. When it's a passer, I'll double check body on the body. Let the pit this time. Open.
Yeah, that would not be a pass through, as Larry pointed out.
So that flared out left side skirt usually happens just from the car compressing into the racetrack, and they actually build them so they will flare out to the left. So I don't think that was it. I think there's something else that NASCAR saw on that last pit stop. Here he comes to pit road. Also a very tough pit road to get to at speed.
What about the right side? Does it look?
Oh boy, I don't know, guys. I think he was speeding coming on pit road right there.
No. Watch the jackman right there.
You'll see him on the overhead here, watching.
Okay.
Oh yeah, big hip check. That's what I call the hip check.
I kind of figured the jackman had something to do with it.
Now I got to tell you, I've seen guys do it so well where NASCAR doesn't pick it up on the video, and that one I guess they felt like was a little too obvious.
So if you push that quarter panel in front of the tire, what does that do, Jeff?
Well, it just gives the car a little bit more side force, a little more down force, and just makes the rear of the car stick better. But look at how much time this is costing them by doing that.
And the other thing that gets you, Mike, a penalty.
Well, that's a big penalty.
You know, detention always takes longer than the time you spend clowning around in class.
That's right. They want to be sure you're sorry about that.
And we're hearing about a vibration. Jamie.
Yeah, and you can bet these pit crews are watching right now what just happened with the 1 and taking notice. Meanwhile, on the 19, you guys mentioned it, he was really tight, but they opted to take right sides for track position. Now Carl's saying he has a left rear tire shake. His crew chief Dave Rogers assured him we only took right, so just be mindful of that and see if you can still run with it.
Since the restart, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is flying. He restarted 38th after serving the penalty for being too fast exiting his pit. He's up to 25th.
Mike, you're always a little gun shy. Remember what happened to Carl Edwards at Talladega last week? Went back out and something broke on the car and it shot dead up the racetrack into Dale Earnhardt Jr. You have that on your mind, and you can't get rid of it. So if something's shaking on the car tonight, you think, wait a minute, that happened last week.
And I thought it was interesting, right before that caution came out, I thought Dale Jr. found something on the racetrack. His car started to really make some big moves. They also came in a second time under that last caution to pit. I'm wondering if they made another adjustment, not knowing they had the time to do it.
On the left, Matt McCall, the team arguing with the NASCAR officials about what might have happened on the right side of that car on their pit stop and what had to be done to correct it.
Yeah, the frustrating part is that does happen on pit road. I don't want to say all the time, but it does happen. And that's the first time I've seen anyone get called for that this year.
Jamie McMurray is back on track, 2 laps down.
Quite honestly, that's Matt McCall, the crew chief, arguing there. He could have possibly not seen the jackman fall into the side of the car, and he may not be aware of what we've seen on the Hawkeye.
Well, it's a judgment call, in my opinion, and that's where it's going to have a lot of discussion with Matt.
Martin Truex to 3rd, restarted 4th. Sets off after the Busch brothers. Back at 11th place, Kyle Larson up on the outside of Ryan Newman.
I know this has got to be Kyle Busch has got to be thinking, is this really Kansas? Because I haven't even clicked my heels yet and I'm leading the race.
Oh, you don't want to go home. Not yet. The Busch brothers lead in Kansas. Kyle Busch has won Cup races on 20 tracks. 3 of his last 4 wins were his first wins ever at that track. 4 DNFs here. Charlotte Motor Speedway, where he finished second twice, but has not won. And Pocono. All those tracks coming our way on Fox. Another track where he has finished second twice. But if there's anywhere he's been snake bit, it's been right here in Kansas.
You're right, Mike, but I think Jamie really alluded to it, and I agree with this 100%. This tire has a much better feel to it. In the past, we've had a really rock-hard tire. It's like being on a knife's edge, and as aggressive as Kyle Busch is, he sometimes puts it over that edge, and that tire just couldn't handle it, but this one can.
I tell you who's got the best car right now, and he's coming in a hurry, is that 4 car of Kevin Harvick. He just went by Carl Edwards, and he's been on the march. Been watching his lap times a little quicker than anybody in the field right now.
Harvick started the race 26th. He restarted 13th, and now he's in the top 5.
Yeah, and I think Larry mentioned talking about the 78 of Mark Truex Jr. and a lot of these teams having to keep up on the adjustments with this racetrack. I think the drivers are also going to have to keep up on track and where they run on the track. We've seen the 41 of Kurt Busch really give a fight to Mark Truex Jr. here for this position, and Martin has not been able to get off the bottom to try to make a move on the outside, and it's taken him a long time to finally make this pass, even though I do think he's one of the fastest cars, him and Harvick.
Yeah, the 78 car worked on the 41 of Busch there for several laps, couldn't get by him, fell back, cooled his tires, and then made another run and got by him that time.
But look at the gap he has to make up after that long battle with Kurt Busch. Kyle is now 1.6 seconds ahead of the field.
Lap times are this time by 38 on Kyle. And Kyle's a little quicker on that lap by on Truex. So comfortably out front for this 18 car.
Kyle Busch, fastest car on the racetrack that lap with a 30.38. Coming up on 50 laps complete next time by. 2:17 to go. Just 400 miles this distance tonight. Let's get a Dale Jr. nationwide performance report from Vince.
It's a brand new car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88, looking for a little bit more speed throughout the course of the weekend. A long night ahead of us, so we'll see how that unfolds. But they didn't get off to a very good start. Jr. didn't like the car on that first run, as many drivers did not. Just no front grip. And then, of course, they got that penalty for too fast exiting. Long way to go. They'll need it.
11 races in, that's Dale Jr.'s first speeding penalty of 2016.
Yeah, he's a half lap down to our leader right now, so he's all right. He's not going to worry about it going a lap down for a while.
Kevin Harvick looking for 4th place against Matt Kenseth.
Boy, look at that. Made that look easy, didn't he?
Tell you, that car is it's on the bottom, on the white line, and it is moving to the front in a hurry. I've seen that with this 4 car. Qualifies mid-pack. Think something's wrong with the car. They work on it overnight, start the race, and away he goes. I think that Brad Keselowski is one from the deepest in the field of 25th. So you can start middle to back and still have a great night.
Keselowski with Jimmy Johnson moving to the inside.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about Jimmy Johnson. This is one of his favorite tracks, runs really well. I think as this track cools down, we get further into the night, I think you're going to see that 48 continue to come to the front.
It's what I always like about crew chiefs. The guys that have won races, they're smart. They're anticipating what the track will do later on. They're not worried about so much right now. They got that notebook. They know what the trends are. They'll figure it out and they'll have it right for the end of the night.
Boy, Ryan Blaney was lapping Joey Gase in the 32. There might have been some contact there. Going into turn 1. Oh, yeah.
Ryan used him up right there. I don't know if the 32 maybe got him or Carl's way or what, but he wanted to send a message. It was loud and clear.
Well, Jeff, you know, going into 1, you like to swing out right out next to that wall, getting a good entrance down into 1, and he just swung out a little too wide with somebody there.
Joey Gase is having a tough night. He had he missed pit road just a little bit ago trying to get there.
All right, Kurt Busch in 3rd. He's 1.4 seconds behind 2nd. He's a half a second ahead of 4th.
The change was really good to start. Still a little bit on the tight side, but I've got tools in here I can try to mess with. Good ball, bud. Doing fine with it there. Doing good.
And that's what Tony Gibson, his crew chief, expected. When you look at the trends, they start to lose the handle of the race car to the free side, so they're trying to keep it more a tick on the tight side to keep up with this racetrack as it continues to change throughout the night.
Caution is out. A car brushed the wall in turn 4. Might have been Cole Witt who ends up on pit road slow after the caution comes out, but I don't see any damage there. Let's have a look. That is Matt
DiBenedetto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right as that was happening, Cole Witt was trying to get to pit road, carried too much speed and missed it as well.
Michael Annett will get the free pass on this, the second caution flag of the night. Well, what did Kyle Busch show us with the 2-tire change on the last pit stop and a good run holding the lead throughout here?
He did, but I got to tell you, Truex and Harvick were coming in a hurry in those last few laps. So it depends on how long that run's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the 18 take 4 tires here and quite a few others that are in that top 5 or 6.
Yeah, guys, I think you have to get 4. That was a 30-lap run. And remember, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, they're on the same lefts they started the race.
You saw Cole Witt's car pushed behind the wall and the hood going up. Pit road's open. Vince.
Matt Kenseth says it's actually a little bit worse than it was that first run when it was too tight then. He said it's been shaking tight and he has nothing in the front of the car to handle it. Jamie?
Kyle Busch has led 31 laps tonight, took right sides last time. The call is for 4. He says it's freeing up as he goes, Matt.
Tight the first run for Kevin Harvick in the 4. This past run, he was much pleased with how the balance was. No changes on this run. Meanwhile, the 41, he was going to work on his entry. Keep it more straight in the pit box. Air pressure change on the left sides to try to free up the 41. And the 78 of Truex, he was on the free side again.
Wow, quick stop for Cole Perrin and the 78 crew. He gets the lead back as everyone takes 4 tires. Carl Edwards' team plus 3 spots.
That number 1 pit stall, that was the ticket. She's golden down there.
No, it's fine.
Finishing up the caution here, where Jeff Gordon won the inaugural Sprint Cup race in Kansas in 2001. The Sprint network is fastest. Plus, it's more reliable with better coverage than ever.
Did you get excited when you heard it?
I did.
You thought you were going to say you're in the car, didn't
I love this track when I was driving it. I love it being up here in the booth. This is a great track.
Still tied for most wins here with teammate Jimmy Johnson.
And this is going to be a great restart. You got Kyle Busch on the front row next to Martin Truex Jr., who decided to take the outside. You've got Kurt Busch on the outside in the second row. Carl Edwards on the inside. Starting to get good.
Harvick's up there. Joey Logano's worked his way, the 2 Penske cars.
And the 2016 Toyota Camry XSE getting ready to make that hard left turn onto pit road, and they'll face the green flag to begin lap 61. Into the restart zone, and Martin Truex takes off by a foot or so ahead of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, the leader of the race has to fire off first.
Look at the 22, 3 wide inside of Harvick.
Wow, nice move.
Power move by Logano.
You're going to see a lot of that on the restarts using that apron.
Blaney in the 21 clears ahead of Logano. Way up high, Kyle Larson, surprise, in the 42. Making the high groove work and taking him 3 wide in turn 4.
Up there. Look at
He is making it work. Come on, buddy.
He's so good up top there on these restarts, especially. Here he comes carrying momentum. He's going to get the 22 maybe.
If he doesn't run out of room, he will.
He's there.
Stop for 3.
Wow, what a move. I thought Logano had him blocked.
So did Joey.
Thought twice about it. I think that was a good decision. What's
Second
this?
place, Kurt Busch coming. And 4th place, Ryan Blaney makes the pass.
You know, Kurt showed this on the last restart. Really strong the beginning of a run. I mean, he was good over the whole run, but really strong the first couple laps.
Ryan Blaney, rookie, having quite a night here.
Bad shake when I touched the brakes getting in the corner. It was kind of messing with me, so I don't know. It might have been like a really cold deal or something, but I didn't have that the first run. I didn't have that all practice.
That was Ryan Blaney. This is the 6 of Trevor Bayne. A lot of smoke down in turns 1 and 2. It continues in turn 4.
Yeah, it looks like possibly a tire rub. Maybe it made contact.
Somebody just bounced off the wall in front of half the pack.
Biffle.
And that was Greg Biffle.
Yeah, the whole
Bayne's
right side's
teammate.
flattened up on the right side of the 16 car.
Just pancaked it.
Obviously, the 6 made contact with somebody, just knocked that fender in on the left rear, so they're going to really have to monitor that.
Tony Stewart down there on the inside of the 3 car of Austin Dillon, and he's looking pretty good right now.
I don't think the 16 is going to be able to continue like that without cutting a tire down.
I think
he's probably coming to pit road here.
Yeah, he was 24th, and
Whoa.
Biffle comes to pit road.
Big sparks as he pulled off the track. Just what?
Jamie?
And Greg Biffle, they thought that his damage is too severe. They wanted to bring him in. They'll check the fenders. They'll change the tires. No gas. Meanwhile, the 6 of Trevor Bayne, they told him, Matt Pucia, his crew chief, said, stay out. I don't care if you lose 20 spots. Just take it easy and stay out. Let's keep an eye on it.
Tough lap there for Roush Fenway Racing. 2 of their 3 cars. And Bayne and Austin Dillon almost got together there.
Tell you what, when that left rear starts, when it rubs, it doesn't take a whole lot to cut that left rear down.
No, it doesn't. It looks like it stopped rubbing. That could be good or bad.
It always worries me when it quits smoking to some degree.
Greg Biffle back into the race. He has lost 1 lap. And for 19th, A.J. Allmendinger, Casey Kane, Tony Stewart. Matt?
Sounds like old smoke on the radio talking about all that congestion you saw earlier on. Now, when you look back to his week, he had a great test up at the Brickyard. Many who watched it felt like it was the old Tony behind the wheel, trying to continue on with Mike Bugaravich, working on the intermediate tracks. 3 of his last 6 wins have come on this type of configuration. Right now, the car a little bit better balance-wise. It was on the free side the last run.
And you saw on the left of your screen, Kyle Larson had a big wiggle coming off turn number 4. Trying to move up.
And he doesn't have much wiggle room where he is.
Yeah, but he was the fastest car that lap.
Wow. Sideways. Now on pit stops, Denny Hamlin came in 9th and came out 19th. What's up with the 11, Jamie?
Yeah, and I watched that and talked to the team, and it was driver error. When Denny pulled into his pit box, he had the wheel turned slightly to the left, just enough to make it difficult for the tire changer to get that left front off and get it back on. So it cost him a lot of extra time. He lost 10 positions.
And that's the reason we put that tape on top of our steering wheel. You always see that orange piece of tape on the steering wheel. That tells the driver he has his wheel straight ahead for the tire changers.
Man, Larson is getting it done out there right now. I love it.
Let's show you Denny Hamlin coming to pit road. And he comes in 9th. Here's the stop.
Look like they're turned out just a little bit to the right, a little bit more than they need to be.
Not a lot of clearance.
He also was super conservative as he came into the stall. Oh, that left rear is down on the 6.
Yep. Trevor Bayne will be pit side.
That was not a risk worth taking.
And sadly, that happened to him going into turn 1, so he's going to have to limp all the way around.
Well, the question is now, will the tire fly apart and we'll have debris
He's trying
everywhere.
to get it to do that. He wants a caution for debris.
Yes, because a debris caution is not charged to a particular car. In many cases, it's not possible to tell where the debris came from. But he's down on the apron, and we continue.
Oh, there's some debris flying off right there.
Bayne going 1 lap down. He's finished top 10 in 2 of his last 3 races. He's going to have a long way to come back tonight.
Yeah, it's a shame. Got a little contact somewhere along the way. Got in that left rear tire. I was afraid this was going to happen. Here he is on pit road.
The good news is it didn't damage the quarter panel very much, so I think he'll be fine once he gets those tires on there.
He's going to be 2 laps down, however, when he comes back.
I think Kyle Busch was better on 2 tires than he is on 4 here.
He's currently 4th, as you watch from Kevin Harvick.
I just think Kevin Harvick is really, really good, and that's why we're seeing him move forward the way he is. Watch that thing go down in the corner, the 4 car right down there. He hadn't really moved up the track much, kind of middle groove, and really making good time.
Hey, DW and Jeff, going back to Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens, they got pretty aggressive with an adjustment that last time to pit road. But my question in my mind, they made that adjustment on how that car was driving with just fresh right side tires, and they adjusted and also put 4 tires on there for the first time.
That's a good point, Larry. Did you see that 18 wiggle as he went in behind the 4 car into 1? The back end of the car really was stepping out on him.
19's got a problem.
Carl Edwards in trouble.
Well, he was complaining about something being loose earlier.
Oh, vibration, yeah.
Vibration.
I don't know if I get a tire down or not.
Looks like he's been in the wall, guys. The right side tires are all scuffed up.
Jamie.
Well, he had that shake on the left side earlier. He's not sure if he has a tire going down or not, trying to hang on to it. Carl Edwards, of course, home track. He wants this win more than ever. They're keeping an eye on it. He's telling him, Dave Rogers on the radio talking to his driver saying, take care of the sheet metal. Don't mess it up. Leaving it up to Carl if he wants to bring it in from 10.
Bring it in, buddy. Bring it in, because we saw just a little bit of rub on those tires, and you're going to have a problem.
Tony Stewart makes a pass for 19th on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here comes A.J. Allmendinger and Austin Dillon. Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick fighting for 3rd.
Yeah, this is Kevin Harvick coming back to Kyle Larson. We saw him get by Harvick in Logano earlier. But, boy, this 4 car is just so good over the long run.
I think the 42, as hard as he's driving and the way he's driving, he's going to use his stuff up a little quicker than some of the other guys are.
Well, the nice thing is he has that outside groove working for him like nobody else out there. So it's his to own if he wants it. But right now, I just don't think that he can carry the speed up there like some of these others, like the 78 and the 4.
Now, those 2 are a little faster than the leaders as they battle 3 seconds behind Martin Truex Jr. who's now led more laps at Kansas than any other track on the Sprint Cup circuit. "82 laps complete in Kansas, where Chevy Silverado is built with high-strength steel for high-strength dependability. Silverado, an official vehicle of NASCAR." Martin Truex Jr. 1.7 seconds up on the Chevy of Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Larson.
I think the 19 is slow in the back.
Slowing down, dropping to the inside. He brushed the wall earlier, coming off turn number 2. Said he had
coming to you, center 3 and 4. He's coming to you.
Said he had smoke in the cockpit.
Whoa!
I think
he's going to miss pit road. He missed pit road.
I think the right rear is flat.
It's definitely flat, DW. You're right. Yeah, look at that. Ah, man, these guys are risking it tonight. They're getting into the wall.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
Getting contact.
Now, when he brushed the wall, he was 7th. Now, right there, do you lock him up, take the commitment cone violation? We'll see him brush the wall right here.
I mean, it was slight. He said he got a little bit loose off there, and it was just so slight that he got into it, but it was just enough to rub on that right rear tire and cut it down eventually.
So he misses the entrance to pit road. Do you lock him up and take the penalty, or do you have to go, or do you go all the way around slow?
I think with that right rear down, that's what he wanted to do, but when he got on the brakes, the car started to spin. He let off the brake, and he was up past pit road. So
yeah, I think
it was a perfect spot for him to not be able to get in.
At that point, he might have been afraid if he tried to actually get there, it might just spin all the way out.
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
Good point. So Edwards falls off the lead lap as he finally makes his way to pit road. Jamie?
And they reminded him, do not speed. I know you're frustrated, but just keep it under control, bringing it in to change those tires. Right rear flat is the call. You saw it there. Minimal damage, just brush the wall, change the right sides. They'll move around. Let's see if they decide to change. Yeah, they'll change all 4 tires while they're at it.
Here's a replay of Carl trying to get on pit road with that flat right rear.
See, Mike, you watch the car, the back, he gets on the brake right here. He wants to get on pit road, but that thing jumped sideways and he let off the brake and he's by pit road.
Yeah, soon those left sides got onto the apron. It really pulled it around. There's the commitment cone. He was still trying to carry quite a bit of speed to get to pit road to not lose too much time.
And like Greg Biffle earlier, he loses 2 laps. Matt Kenseth going after Kyle Busch for 6th place.
Well, Kyle has not liked the adjustments or 4 tires since that last stop.
Like I said earlier, are you sure this is Kansas? Well, now I'm sure. It's starting to come to me.
Vince?
Matt Kenseth, a 2-time winner here at Kansas, and they felt like they had a car capable of going to victory lane again today. Hasn't really started off so great, really fighting tight like many of the cars are throughout the course of the early stages of the race. Tighter the second time around than it was the first time, but they're still feel like they're slowly getting a little bit better as this particular run progresses. So maybe good news for the 20.
Yeah, certainly looking at the time sheet and timing and scoring, he's been the fastest car about the last 4 or 5 laps on the track, so he's coming.
Got a pass over here off 2 guys. There goes Harvick by Kurt Busch to move into 2nd place and continues that good drive forward, man. He is going to the front.
Stewart-Haas Chevrolet teammates. 3 Chevrolets chasing the Toyota of Martin Truex Jr., who has a 2.5-second lead. .94 laps complete. Here's how the Coca-Cola Racing family of drivers is faring. Joey Logano 8th, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin 15th, Tony Stewart right behind him. Martin Truex Jr. out in front of Kevin Harvick by 1.8 seconds. Kurt Busch and Harvick have traded 2nd place back and forth. Now Harvick back in 2nd. And Matty's within 2 seconds of the leader. Can he catch him?
He's working on it. Now, Rodney Chilton and Kevin Harvick were on a different game plan. Remember, they won at Phoenix, so now they can experiment looking for different ways to find more speed in that 4 car. They felt like their experiment on Friday did not pay off. They went back to more of a conventional setup. It's paying off here tonight. Harvick has been good. The last stop, no adjustments on the 4, but he just reported about 4 laps ago that the car is beginning to loosen up. We're seeing the racetrack really starting to cool off.
And that's kind of what happens at these night races. The cars actually loosen up. So guys that were a little tight, it may be playing right into their hands as time goes by.
Well, the sun set officially about 25 minutes ago. Still going to be a while before we get to dusk here in the Great Plains.
2 former winners here, 22 and 2.
2 teammates fighting for a spot. Keselowski uses a lap car as a pick, and Logano drops in behind him.
Yeah, but Logano's not won this year. You know, Keselowski's won 2. I mean, this is a big race for him. He has a lot of confidence from the win that he had here last year. But he's got to beat Martin Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick, I think, tonight.
And here comes Jimmy Johnson up to the outside.
And maybe Jimmy Johnson.
Logano's going to have to give him room, Matt.
Joey Logano loves to live right off that wall, the high side, but he can't make it work tonight. Right now he's having to run the bottom because he just doesn't have the center turn. That was a concern that Todd Gordon had coming in for the 22.
And we listen in on Jimmy Johnson and team.
Just keeps turning better and better as I run. I have a hard time feeling the splitter contact when I'm real tight. To start, it just doesn't turn. So far. If we get a caution, do you want to put Packer in it? I don't know. I can't. I got to get back focused here. Whatever you think's best, bro. I got you.
Yeah, definitely as the track is cooling, guys, you're seeing these cars start to handle a little bit differently. Jimmy Johnson, as you heard from that, was on the splitter early. They don't feel it nearly as much, and some of the tightness is coming out of the car as the track cools. So the car's definitely starting to come to these drivers. Johnson turning some of the fastest laps on track.
Yeah, I think if they talked about the Packer, and that would raise the car up a little bit if they needed to put that Packer in the right front, get it off the splitter, if that turns out to be a problem.
Yeah, Larry, talk to us about that splitter contact early in the run, the air pressures. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that for us?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're down on air pressures at the start of a run. And the reason they go down on air pressure, they know how much it's going to gain over the course of the run. But what I found interesting is Chad Knaus asked him, if we get a caution, do you want to stick a Packer on the shock? And what that is, that's just a very thin spacer that controls the travel of the car more where it won't get down on that splitter. You can help it a little bit with air pressure, but definitely a Packer's a better way to go. And I'm going to say this to you, Mike Joy, before it happens. Green flag stops are close within the next 8 to 10 laps.
No, Larry, caution is out. Larry?
Thanks, Larry.
You did it to yourself this week. Now, Paul Menard hit the wall in turn 2.
Not real hard.
He was running 20th.
On a splitter here. Leader is...
Danica Patrick will get the free pass on this, the 3rd caution flag of the night. And folks, if you're not in on the joke, this is the 3rd week in a row that I've asked Larry, when are we going to have pit stops? And it turns out right now, caution's out.
Let's see what happened to the 27 here. It's really up high. You see there, I heard him say he backed it in, and you can see the back of the car scraping along the wall there. Not a tremendous amount of damage as I was looking at the car on our screen here.
That's the advantage of being up in the high line when you spin out. You don't have far to go to hit the wall, so he did an excellent job just brushing it. I think you're right, EW. Not a lot of damage.
Might have helped it. Jack that back end up a little bit.
Getting ready for pit stops. Take a second off for Happy Mother's Day to my wife, Gay, and her mom, Jeannie, 96 years old. We'll celebrate with her tomorrow. And Gay, hard to believe, our oldest Scott, 17 years old today. Boy, that flew by like that.
Oh, wow, that's cool, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
happy birthday, son.
Happy Mother's Day to Mom back home, and Stevie and Jeff.
Yeah, to Ingrid and my mom.
And to Vince.
Matt Kenseth.
He's not my mom.
Well, I wish my mom happy Mother's Day as well. Matt Kenseth coming in from the 6th position. He said it's a 5 tight after being a 7 tight on the previous run, but it's definitely not cutting the way he wants it to. Air pressure adjustment and 4 tires. Matt?
when Martin Truex Jr. dominated here 4 years ago as crew chief Chad Johnson. He's also now the crew chief for Kyle Larson. He says the balance is loose on throttle for the 42. He thinks the track will continue to trend to be freeing up. That's what Kurt Busch is saying. They're going to adjust air pressure on the 41. Meanwhile, you can see them clean the grill of Martin Truex Jr. His car wasn't consistent, sometimes tight, sometimes free, and the 4 was just a tick on the free side.
Pit stall 1, exit position 1 for Martin Truex and Cole Perrin. You know, this is the home race for that team, Furniture Row Racing. This is the closest racetrack to their shop. It's only 583 miles from here.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right.
Little surprise that pole sitter Martin Truex Jr. has led the most laps tonight, 71 of 106 so far. For a limited time, switch to Sprint, save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. And repeat offender Denny Hamlin has incurred the ire of the speeding police. First time tonight, too fast exiting pit road, but his 5 penalties this season leads the league.
I've heard some drivers say when they don't have a good car, they really push the envelope, trying to make up a little bit of time on pit road. Obviously pushed it a little too far.
Now Kevin Harvick dropped a number of spots on this pit stop.
We'll do this all over again. Passing cars. Already made it hard enough on ourselves on Friday. Might as well not try and do it again on Saturday.
The unfiltered Kevin Harvick.
Ah, yes.
Words of encouragement. That'll help.
Didn't qualify well, and now this. Harvick will restart 8th.
But I can understand his frustration. He's got a really fast race car, probably the car that can compete with Martin Truex Jr. at this point in the race so far. You need all the track position you can get.
Yeah, you drive you
know what
off to get up there, and
he was,
and then that happens. So
he's going to really have to drive that thing off now,
all the way.
Now the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race is right around the corner. Brand new format for the All-Star Race this year, and you have the power to vote one driver into the field. Go to NASCAR.com/SprintFanVote or use the NASCAR mobile app. Vote daily, and remember, votes shared by Facebook and Twitter count double. Night beginning to fall here in Kansas as aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Now 4 drivers took the wave around. Jamie McMurray, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and Joey Gase. None of them get back on the lead lap. Danica Patrick was the free pass.
And Jamie McMurray had put himself in a position to get both of his laps back, and then they had to come in and pit under green. So now he's back to 2 laps down.
Restart time.
Let's watch it.
Into the box, and Martin Truex goes. How about Ryan Blaney right up there taking the battle to those Toyotas in his 21 Ford?
How about that Kyle Larson up in that
There
third lane? Watch out for that.
Up, up, up.
It seems like he can really get that outside working when he's on fresh tires, but it just burns him off after several laps.
He's going to go back up there again.
I know Kevin Harvick was a little upset about that pit stop, and rightfully so, but I bet it doesn't take him long to get back up there.
Nope, he's in 7th. Up 1 spot. Blaney and Larson side by side.
Some of that frustration, Kevin Harvick might get him up on the wheel in these restarts even more than he already was.
Mike, I think that 42 of Larson, he can go like that when he's on 4 fresh tires, but he goes so hard, I think it just wears the tires out quicker.
4th place for Kurt Busch as he passes Ryan Blaney. Matt.
3rd race here for Jeremy Bullins, the crew chief, with his driver Ryan Blaney in that 21 car, restarted 4th. The 21 can only run the bottom or the middle. He can't run the high side, just too free. But he feels like he gets more clean air. The car will come to him. Great run so far by the Wood brothers.
3 wide mid-pack.
Whoa.
2 outside, 1 outside, 48 tight.
Now Jimmy Johnson came in and changed that Packer that they were talking about, so he had to go way to the back, aggressively coming up through there.
Yeah, Chris Buescher way loose off 4 that time. Junior gets underneath.
Yeah, I think that was a good move. I really think it was a good move on the 48. What are they saying, Vince?
Yeah, exactly. And Chad Knaus told Jimmy, he said, be patient. We've got a lot of racing left to go. Better to get the car good now so you can move towards the front as the racing progresses. And they are definitely getting the car better. But he told him it's going to be a lot freer. Hang on. And Jimmy said, woohoo.
Well, that extra work dropped them from 9th to 22nd on that stop.
And we know how much Jimmy Johnson likes a free race car.
Oh, yeah. If he's complaining, that thing's about to spin out.
His teammates going at it.
Joey Logano wins the battle with Brad Keselowski, last week's winner, 8th place.
All I can tell Kevin Harvick is, or Martin Truex is, you better get going because that Ford car is coming back after you.
Ryan Blaney back to 6th.
Yeah, Harvick just got around Blaney, and he's running the best lap times right now.
I thought teammates were supposed to help each other. What's happening
we're
here?
We're not at Talladega anymore. We're in Kansas.
No. You don't have to work for me, but just don't work against me. I think that's the theory.
Now there's Eric Almirola in 17th and Richard Petty's 43. Vince?
Well, they had some drama on that 43 recently. The air conditioning unit caught on fire inside the car, and Almirola had to shut it down because it was blowing smoke through the air hose in his helmet. So his helmet was filling with smoke. So they shut the air conditioning unit down, unhooked the helmet hose, and it might be a little uncomfortable, but not nearly as uncomfortable as it was when all that smoke was filling up in his helmet.
Well, and it's still 79 degrees out there. Going to be a lot warmer in the race car.
Yeah, but half the reason you run that air conditioner, it's not just about the cooler air. It also filters the air. So if it's smoking and bringing it inside the car, that's defeating the whole purpose.
6th place, Blaney and Kyle Busch.
2 young guns.
You know, I know the Wood brothers with the 21 are a satellite of Team Penske, but the Wood brothers haven't run a full season in a decade or so. They have a rookie driver. Did anybody expect this? He has been right toward the front, really putting on a veteran performance.
And in front of his satellite teammates of Penske who are behind him right now. He's doing an awesome job.
I just feel like they'll get better and better and better when they get into the rhythm of running every week, get their inventory built up, get used to being on the road every week. I think that 21 will surprise you down the road somewhere.
Ryan Blaney made his Cup debut in this race in 2014 and finished 7th here last fall. There's your leader.
Here would be 4.
Yeah.
.122 laps complete, about 10 or more to halfway here in Kansas. Matt Kenseth the second, passing Kyle Larson, leaves him about 2.8 seconds behind the race leader, which continues to be Martin Truex, who's led 87 of these 122 laps. Chase Elliott, while we were away, had a brush with the wall. We thought he might have just cut the corner of the rear bumper, but it looks a little more serious than that.
Well, it was very similar to what the 19 of Carl Edwards did several laps back. I think it's slightly less damage than what we saw in the 19, so I think he's going to be okay. He was running 10th at the time, but he's definitely dropped a little bit since then.
Yeah, it didn't rub the lettering off the tires, and that's a pretty good indication of how hard you get into the wall. So pretty minor look like damage on the 24 car.
Now, he was 10th at the time. He has slid to 19th. But Larry, on these super speedways, having a flat tire doesn't necessarily mean all the way flat, does it?
Yeah, what we do, it tracks 1 mile and bigger except for the road courses. Goodyear requires the teams to run what we call an inner liner, and that's why Carl Edwards and Trevor Bayne was able to go all the way around the racetrack and make it back to pit road. This is the inner liner tire right here, and it's basically a tire within a tire, and it actually has an air pressure, but you have to keep the air pressure in that inner liner somewhere around 12 psi or greater than the outer, or it does what we call equalizing, and that causes a bad vibration. But that's the reason Carl Edwards and Trevor Bayne was able to go all the way around this 1.5 mile track an additional time without being on the rim.
Now let's go to 6th place, where Mother's Day at the Busch household could be interesting.
Hey, Tony, has this the 41 restarted behind me maybe like 6 times total this year? And of those, about 4 of them, they packed air on me? Yeah, I'd say that's about a fair guesstimate. Yeah, just checking. I'm making sure I'm not crazy. Look, it is.
I suppose when you have 2 competitive brothers in the same household, they're going to race each other harder than they race anybody else.
Yeah, maybe. You might be right. I was going to say, when I was out there on the track, I remember making that same comment about Kyle.
Yeah.
I mean, those two are just super aggressive in any which way they can be, whether it's taking you 3 wide, whether it's packing air on your rear bumper, or just making a late move into the corner. That's the way the Busch brothers race and do it very successfully.
I just don't know about packing air. that's different.
Martin Truex has his lead back up to 3.25 seconds. Coming up, the Fox NASCAR mid-race report.
Ben? Yeah, okay, now I was a little scratchy myself here. Yeah, Ben, are you nearby? You want to check this battery or something, or is it the... So those are all accurate. We got the no slaps. All right, never mind, it's too late. Martin Truex Jr. leads Matt Kenseth and Kyle Larson. And hope you're enjoying NASCAR Live from Kansas here on FS1. And time now for the mid-race report. Martin Truex Jr., he's led the most laps. Also turned the fastest lap tonight, just under 185 miles per hour. Joey Logano, who's won 2 of the last 3 Kansas races, still searching for his first win, has been as high as 7th tonight. And Jimmy Johnson won this race last year, gambling on a late race pit strategy, started 15th. He's yet not to lead tonight. Johnson and Harvick came in as the co-favorites tonight. Jeff, what are you forecasting for the second half of this race?
Well, it's hard to forecast, Chris, but I know the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. is dominating this race right now, but I got my eye on Matt Kenseth. You know, last year this was a devastating race to him, not here a year ago, but this race in the fall. I just think right now it's Matt Kenseth's time to put a complete race together. He's running second right now, matching lap times of Martin Truex Jr., and I think tonight he's going to get that win.
Hey, Jeff, that's cute that your guy's matching times with the leader, but I'm outrunning him. Kevin Harvick is the closer, and that car just gets better and better all night long. They made major adjustments to the 4 car this morning. They feel real confident about what they have now. They've made more adjustments during the race, and that car has come alive. Look for Harvick to close again today.
Michael, 2 years ago, Kyle Larson in his rookie season finished second 3 times. We said this kid's going to win all kinds of races. Right now in his 86th start, he's high, wide, and handsome. It's going to happen tonight for Kyle Larson.
Martin Truex Jr. started on the pole. He's had the fastest car. He won practice. He's leading the race. He's dominating this race. If they don't beat themselves, that 78 will go to victory circle tonight.
Well, in 16 previous tries, Kyle Busch has never won at Kansas, but so far tonight, he led 32 laps. He's saying right now the car feels fast. He just needs to make some headway. I say put right sides on it. That's when he's fastest. Watch the 18 come to the front.
Ryan Blaney's got a calm voice and a cool hand on the wheel. His dad can still wheel it, but Dave got banged up last night in a sprint car crash at Eldora. The younger Blaney could sure make Dad feel better on Mother's Day with a strong performance tonight.
And Mike, the drivers that consider this their home track have had problems. Carl Edwards from nearby Columbia, Missouri, scraping the wall, went a couple laps down. He's now 1 lap down. Jamie McMurray, Joplin, Missouri, went 2 laps down for unapproved car adjustment. And Clint Boyer from Emporia, Kansas, has not been in the top 20 yet tonight. The mid-race leader in Kansas has only won 3 times in the last 20 races that have been run here. Can Martin Truex Jr. change the pattern? Stay tuned.
.143 laps complete, 124 to go. Here are your Toyota top performers. Truex and Kenseth started 1-2, running 1-2. Kyle Busch 6th, Denny Hamlin 17th, Carl Edwards 26th. While we were away, A.J. Allmendinger bounced off the wall in turn 3, had to come to pit road for an unscheduled stop, and Paul Menard took his Chevy to the garage with engine trouble.
Mike, you know how you know when you got a really strong program? When your affiliate team is leading the race and winning the race like the 78 is. I mean, that's a Joe Gibbs affiliated team, and just out there running away with the race right now. That's when you know you got strong cars, and you provide other teams with strong cars.
He's got that lead back up to nearly 3 seconds over Matt Kenseth. Let's go back to 14th place. Get a nationwide Dale Jr. performance update from Vince.
Well, their issue started early when they got that penalty on their first stop where they were too fast exiting. That kept them back. They came in topped off. They've been slowly making their way through, as you see the progression as Dale Earnhardt Jr. has made his way up to 14th. Right now, the car just doesn't quite have the grip that he wants it for entry. Just a little bit too loose in for him to take advantage of the corner the way he wants. But still, they are creeping up a little bit as they go. So I think that's a good sign for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He's about 15 seconds off the lead as Truex goes to put the 23rd place car, Eric Almirola, 1 lap down.
Yeah, Mike, the cars that were tight when the race started, that's really starting to come to them, because this track, when the temps go down, the front grip picks up and the cars get loose. So if you were tight starting off, you're pretty good right now.
10th place battle here a lap ago. Casey Kane gave Ryan Newman a little bit of help. There's a look. Watch the 31 and the 5.
Yeah, you can see the 31 lost a little bit of momentum. Didn't give Casey quite enough room to go by him on the outside. Casey said, "Here I am."
That was what he told him. Hey, you didn't give me quite enough room, so I'm just going to have to give you a little tap.
Now the 16 of Biffle is right in there, but he is 3 laps down. Jimmy Johnson in 12th, right with that pack.
Yeah, Biffle was just on pit road. I'm not sure what his issues were, but anyway, he was just on pit road.
If you think there's not a way to communicate from inside the race cars, there is with that bumper. Hand signals, a lot of ways to communicate.
Jimmy Johnson, the biggest mover since the restart, up 10 positions, as is Denny Hamlin in 16th.
I asked AJ Foyt, I said, these guys are always shaking their fist at me. He said, just hit them real hard. They'll put their hand back on the wheel.
Another driver complaining of a vibration. Tony Stewart.
About the time we almost got the 17th, I started getting a vibration. I can't say that it's getting any worse, but it sure as hell slowing us down. Yeah, I see that, bud. All your gauges look good, right?
Tony Stewart telling Mike Bogdanovich that the gauges all look good, but the motor has apparently slowed down just a tick. It hasn't gotten any worse. It is consistent, but he's keeping an eye on the gauges, and they've got concern on the 14.
I think the gauges he's talking about is when the tire changers change tires, they have an impulse that they can read in the pit, and they can tell if they hit all 5 lugs and how long they were on those lugs. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I was reading that conversation too, but it was a little confusing. We have to, continue to monitor that, to monitor the gauges.
Clint Boyer going down a lap to race leader Martin Truex Jr. 3 caution flags so far. This is the 8th time Truex has led over 100 laps in a race. Boy, we've had some pit road issues, tire issues, and a little engine trouble too. The Sprint network is fastest, plus it's more reliable with better coverage than ever. As we look at mile-and-a-half winners this season, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, and Kyle Busch so far. Green flag stops. Vince.
Well, that 48 of Jimmy Johnson, that car's come alive a bit since they put that Packer in the left front on the last stop. Freed him up quite a bit. 4-tire stop and air pressure. Matt?
Brad Keselowski said he'd lost the exit. The stability had gone away. You can see the wrench in the back window. Chassis adjustment for the two. Left side's going on. The 14 of Stewart is in, as well as others.
First green flag stop of the night for most of these teams. Matt?
And the 4 car, Kevin Harvick, he too has said the car had gone to the free side that run. Wanted a chassis adjustment. You can see in the back window already completed. Meanwhile, the 78 of Truex, he's on pit road, Jamie.
Kyle Busch at one point in that run said the car just wasn't right. He was using his track bar adjuster. They made an adjustment. Let's go back to Vince.
Matt Kenseth's car was a lot better on that run, but still a little bit too snug, so they made a chassis adjustment to help free it up. Matt?
Watching the trend so far, no wrench in the back window for Truex. Out front, that clean air was his friend. Solid stop so far. The 41 of Kurt Busch, he already had made his pit stop. He wanted to reverse his adjustments. It was too free.
Joey Logano led a lap during that exchange, and Clint Bowyer is staying on the racetrack, hoping to catch a caution before he will have to pit. Logano's in now. So if Bowyer comes around, he will lead a lap as Joey Logano's on pit road.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Nope, he's coming in. Matt?
With a little bit of luck, Logano could be chasing his 4th straight win here at Kansas. They felt like they gave it away last year with 2 different mistakes. He had to come from the back twice. No chassis adjustment for Logano. Air pressure, though. The fronts just take off tight, and he loses the balance from that point on. Logano's away.
Bowyer is in, and Danica Patrick assumes the lead.
Mike, I'll tell you one thing. I watched that 78 make his pit stop. They are on it tonight.
Boy,
they have had flawless pit stops so far.
And I thought Matt Kenseth really got to pit road even a little bit more aggressive than he did. But when they left pit road, he gapped them.
Yeah, he stretched it out.
Wow, it's not too often you do that to Matt Kenseth on pit road.
No, I'm just watching those guys. Of course, they're in the best pit stall. They got the #1 spot down there, but they've been nailing those stops.
Truex's lead was 3.6 seconds before pit stops. It's now about 3.4.
Well, what's going on with that 6 car? But got something dragging really, really bad.
Oh, man, he's trailing Sparks about 30, 40 feet out the right side of the car behind him.
Casey Mears gets a lap back from Danica Patrick, and Martin Truex Jr. goes back to the lead. Larry, I hesitate to ask, given our performance the last couple of weeks, but how many more stops?
Not near as much as I'm hesitate to answer. But absolutely, with where those leaders pitted right there, everyone should be able to make it on one more stop.
105 laps to go in America's heartland. Martin Truex Jr. in command.
You're watching NASCAR on FS1. Stick around now. We're having some fun.
little bit of yellow fever in the Go Bowling 400. Caution is out for the 4th time. Debris in the back straightaway. That may benefit Chase Elliott. He may well be the free pass. First car 1 lap down in 19th place. 60-lap stretch of green flag racing. There's the debris, or some of it.
Wow.
What do you think? Who's going to, I mean, Martin Truex and his team have been flawless all night. Can they seal the deal?
Well, they got the fastest car. They got the #1 pit stall. They've been making incredible pit stops. I hope he can hang on, man.
Matt Kenseth is just as hungry as Martin Truex.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt they're both very, very hungry. And usually Matt Kenseth's pit crew is even stronger than Martin Truex Jr.'s, but that was extremely impressive what they just did under green flag
Remember,
stops.
that's a Joe Gibbs pit crew now.
Right.
They
Oh,
changed
that's right.
crews when they changed to the Toyota, so that crew is on it, man.
Then you got Kyle Larson in 3rd. Another one of those win one soon drivers.
I can't wait to watch him restart here.
Well, we know where he's going.
All the way upstairs.
He's going to go right by him, I believe.
He's had a good night because I don't see any scrapes on the right side yet.
That's right. Well, Kevin Harvick has fought his way back to 5th place. Remember, they lost some spots on pit road. Is Harvick happy?
On the pit stop, or was it us getting to pit road? The stop went good, but I'm thinking that we had a little bit of everything to lose that much. 10-4. That was terrible.
Did he say, I was terrible? That was terrible.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
I think Rodney nailed it. He said it was a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything,
which
yeah.
pulls the driver into the equation.
It's a team sport.
Most of the time.
Kevin Harvick's day. An uphill battle after they had a difficult Friday in qualifying.
Guys, it's only been about 7 to 9 laps depending on when you made that green flag pit stop, and right now we've got 18 drivers on the lead lap. If you come here and get fuel, you absolutely are safe to make it on one more stop. I think everybody at the back will come and get tires and fuel, where the gamble becomes if you're up there in the top 6 to 8.
Larry, if you come in now for tires and you think this might be the last stop, you got to get all those lug nuts on tight.
Well, it won't be the last one. We absolutely will have one
you're
more.
Right. Thank you. A fakey-do by Martin Truex.
Whoa,
everybody.
More happening.
Look at this. And that leaves Joey Logano coming to the pit lane along with Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Ricky Stenhouse, Denny Hamlin, and 3 more, Vince.
Well, the 48 just a little edgy at the start of the run, so they make a track bar adjustment. Also a little wedge for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson with 4 tires and fuel, Matt.
Joey Logano slides to a stop, misses the mark just briefly in that 22. He was on the splitter early, upsetting the front balance, just right sides for the 22. Once it came off the splitter, then he said it was squirmy. The 21 had to hesitate there for a second.
Dylan Stewart and Allmendinger were the other 3 cars that stopped on this caution. Martin Truex Jr. retains the lead over Matt Kenseth.
96 laps to go here in Kansas on FS1, and Furniture Row Racing, based in Denver, Colorado, they consider this Speedway a home track. And for Martin Truex Jr., starting on the pole, he's led over 133 laps and is currently your leader. Jamie McMurray from nearby Missouri, unapproved body work, so he went a couple of laps down. It was a frustrating moment as crew chief debating. Carl Edwards hits the wall, stays out, has a tire problem, went a couple of laps down as well. And Chase Elliott, one of the rookies in the race, into the wall.
Yeah, this exit to turn 2 is very difficult. In traffic, if cars really want to swerve out toward the wall, Chase had to get away from him there.
8th time Martin Truex Jr.'s led over 100 laps in a race, Mike. He's only won once the previous 7 times.
Yeah, Chris, Joe Gibbs' drivers went on to win 4 of those races. Jimmy Johnson, the others. Denny Hamlin, 6 speeding penalty. If you're going to lead the league. Now, he was too fast entering the pits on this stop.
I got 3 times the penalties. Anybody's got. Yep, keep your head up here.
Yes, you do. you're leading that category.
He actually knows how many he has. It's not like a big surprise.
Traffic school.
Wheels. Come on, wheels, tighten up.
All right, the 2016 Toyota Camry XSE. Lights are off on the roof. That's the signal to drivers. Green this time by.
Watch that 18 of Kyle Busch on the outside. I've been saying Kyle Larson, but he's stuck on the inside on this one. Oh, and look who's behind the 18. His brother.
Packing it right up to the back end of Kyle's car. And here we go. Dead even at the line. Kenseth inside of Truex.
Being on the outside pays off as you exit turn 2. You get such great exit out there.
Wow.
And away he goes. That's that momentum you get from that high line. That's why you pick that line.
That's also a lot of confidence with a fast race car.
He knows he's good.
4 wide.
4 wide. Stenhouse underneath Newman, under Logano, under Allmendinger.
Thought better of it. Good thing he backed out there.
You know, 2 guys that are thinking the same thing, Martin Truex and Matt Kenseth. What could go wrong? Seen it happen to Martin a few times. Certainly we know the kind of year Matt's had. They're both worrying about, what could happen tonight.
Everything's gone right. Now Kenseth, earlier we didn't you in pre-race kind of compare him to David Pearson?
Exactly.
Now David led a lot of laps, but often you'd see David kind of wait for his opportunity. Kenseth has only led 1 lap tonight. I don't think he's done in that department. 7th place battle. Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, rookie Ryan Blaney.
Harvick's just got to get that track position, whether it's on a pit stop or on these restarts. If he's going to have a chance at winning this race, he's got to close that gap, and he's got to start closer to Martin Truex Jr.
Now the first car with 4 tires is that 48 of Jimmy Johnson. So right now the top 6 have 13 more laps on their tires than Jimmy Johnson. So does Kevin Harvick.
Mike, that time by Truex 2/10 quicker, 29.4 to a 29.6, and 4/10 quicker than everybody else. That was Kyle Busch running second.
How about a Saturday night sparks flying? Fox NASCAR, crank it up.
Clear by 2. There you go, buddy. Get into the manual, drive right away.
by himself there. Outside, outside, outside. Outside the 7, then he's 2 back.
Jimmy Johnson finally completes that pass on Dale Earnhardt Jr. That took a while.
But think about Dale Earnhardt Jr. I mean, started way, way back, and this car's just gotten a little bit better as the night's gone on, and here he is.
Yeah,
in the top 10.
He stayed out on that last stop, so he gained a bunch of positions when others came in, but he's holding steady there.
Vince?
You know, one of the things Greg Ives told me today, he said when they've qualified so poorly and then they make their way to the front, said we should be going to the front. We're better than where we're qualifying. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. showing that again tonight. Not only did they qualify in a hole, but they had an early penalty to dig out of. But the car has been getting better as the night has progressed. Right now, a little on top of the track more than Dale would like it, but they're definitely going the right direction.
Yeah, he's finished better than he started in every race.
Just imagine if they can get the qualifying improved.
Yes. Now Joey Logano has fresher tires. He was in a lap 170.
Now I find this really interesting right here. The 4 cars actually on older tires. Jimmy Johnson got by him on the newer tires, but Harvick, that's just how good his car is. Even on these older tires, he's possibly going to get back by Jimmy Johnson.
6th place at stake. And they're running about 6 seconds behind the leader. Well, it's cooling off a bit. Track temp way down to 87 in the darkness. And Martin Truex Jr. just keeps driving like he can't wait to get to the finish line.
Orange, good entry and exit, 2 tight metal. 3 cents better.
Clayton Hughes, the spotter. Cole Perrin, the crew chief. And Truex has now led 145 laps.
And their hands are tied. I mean, what would you do to the car? I mean, you're driving away from the field. The car feels good. Everything is perfect. Yeah, what would you do to make it better?
You know what I heard there, DW? Very little.
That's right.
When your car is that good and you're out front leading like this, you're going to say very few things.
Matt Kenseth restarted first, but now he's locked in a battle for third with Kyle Larson, 4 seconds off the lead. Vince?
Yeah, you know, they dropped the rear of the car on a previous pit stop to try to get it off the splitter. He's really been dealing with that, and they feel like that's been the reason that they've been tight throughout much of the night, especially early in the run. The car is better than it was at the beginning, but as you can tell, they've still got room to improve. You know, you talked about the problems that they've had. What they've focused on is how they've run, not how they've finished. Tonight, they're trying to get that finish. Matt?
Tonight, a great momentum builder, especially when you look at the schedule coming up with the All-Star race in the 600 in Charlotte. A good intermediate outing here tonight, working that high side. The car a little bit more on the free side this run for the 42.
Can't hold Kenseth off.
And we've seen that a lot tonight with the 42 of Kyle Larson's really strong in the shorter runs. We see him all the way at the top making some big moves on restarts.
I just think he uses his tires up a little quicker than somebody else, some of the other guys. He's driving that car so hard every lap.
When I think a lot of these other cars are free starting off, and that's why they don't have quite the speed. Not Martin Truex Jr. He's super fast the whole run, but I think that's what's going on with the 42. His car's a little tighter. He takes off super fast, and then he fades.
I just think those 4 fresh tires on Jimmy Johnson in that 48, they are definitely paying dividends right now. But remember, no matter when you pitted, everybody at least has one more trip to pit road, but there will be about an 8 to 10 lap differential in when the ones that stayed out pit and the others if we stay green.
Still, Martin Truex continues to impress. The last 3-4 laps, he's been the fastest car on the racetrack. Even as the lap times fall off, he's still. Now that time, Kyle Busch was the quickest, and Matt Kenseth. So
yeah, the 78 had to work around the lap car, so that slowed down just a skosh, but he's better, definitely 2 or 3 tenths quicker.
But also what I'm seeing is the track, as the temperature is going down, the speeds are really coming, going up.
The nighttime is the right time as the sparks fly. Who will hoist the trophy and who will be left singing the blues? .73 to go at Kansas Speedway, where GoBowling.com has set up bowling lanes for the fans here. Guess who wandered over? Hall of Famer George Brett and Hall of Famer Richard Petty, Brian Scott, and Airball Waltrip.
You know, the wax on the lane just wasn't right for my toss. It got a little bit high on me, and I like to land the ball about halfway down. Just didn't work for my feel today.
But you had good form doing it. And folks, log on to GoBowling.com and get your free bowling coupons.
Michael's ball looked like a basketball.
Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick had quite a tussle for 5th place going on here.
Jimmy was actually trying to get by the 41 of Kurt Busch. Almost cleared him, but not quite. Look at how the 41 of Kurt Busch side drafts him. That was some tight racing right there. And then actually Kevin Harvick, front row seat for this.
That's when you want to squeeze up in front of that car outside of you, the 41. But you knew you better not.
And Harvick on old tires, as is Kurt Busch. They both got past Jimmy Johnson. So they run 5, 6, 7 in that order, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. 8th, Ryan Blaney 9th, the first Ford in the race, and Joey Logano 10th.
There's some teammates battling it out.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a long way to Denver, because that 78 car is way up there.
It's 580 some miles.
Yeah.
Truex has led 158 laps tonight. Nobody else has led more than 32.
Impressive. Very impressive. They are on a mission.
The teams from Colorado, the drivers from New Jersey, the crew chiefs from London, Ontario. One of his engineers is from Ontario, one from Nebraska, one from Australia. It's the United Nations. Number 78.
Well, I like the way that Calpern is orchestrating this team, using a lot of engineering. He's a really talented engineer himself, and he's using that to get the aerodynamics, the mechanical grip, just doing everything right on this car. It's paying off.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd be getting everybody together to be sit with some what-if situations here. What if a caution comes out? What are we going to do? So you're prepared.
Hey, guys, within the next 10 to 12 laps, a lot of our top runners right now, they're going to have to come to pit road for a green flag pit stop. So let's take a look at our advanced auto pit performance, mainly focused on Kyle Busch in this 18 car. You can look right there. He has gained the most spots of anyone, 6 spots. And when I look right now at his 4-tire stops, his quickest was under green that last stop at 11.6. So this will be, if we stay green, a 4-tire stop under green.
And Larry, don't you think 11.6, that tells me they hit all 5 lug nuts?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. There's 5 in place.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. There's 5 in place, which is the rule. They don't say they have to be tight. They just have to be in place.
You can have a hanging Chad. That's okay.
Good glue, too.
You talking about the 48?
Yeah.
No. You have to have 5 lug nuts glued on each wheel. And you have to attach 5 lug nuts on each wheel on each stop. They have to be present when that car rolls in at the end of the race.
Yeah, but are you going to take a chance on that is my question.
Depends on the risk to reward ratio, doesn't it?
I'm not going to, but I know some people that will.
65 laps to go in Kansas. .61 laps to go in America's heartland, Kansas Speedway. Martin Truex Jr. trying to fly the W here in Kansas. He's led 167 laps.
Let me tell you, if he wins this race tonight, that's the way you do it. Because he
talk about flying. He's flying, all right.
He is dominating this thing.
6th
Look at these
place.
two still going at it.
Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson have fought each other hard these last dozen laps or so.
Finally clears Kurt Busch, slides up in front of him.
I think Kurt will fight back.
Probably gave him a nice wave out the windshield.
There you go. He's going to fight right back. If you're going to mess with me, I'll mess with you.
10 seconds behind the leader here. We still have 19 cars on the lead lap. Back to Denny Hamlin. With under 60 laps to go, they start talking about when to make that last stop and what kind of fuel is left in the tank. How much?
I need you to pay attention to that white switch. We're a little bit shy on fuel here. We're going to have to run it till it bobbles.
Yeah, so obviously they have a system in place there where they know where their limit is on fuel, and obviously they have some kind of a reserve or safety switch there that can allow them to run it all the way dry, but yet still be confident to make it to pit road.
I just can't believe the speed of this 19 car. We saw Carl in the outside wall. He's raced himself into position to be the free pass car right now, guys. Last time by, he was as fast as anyone on the racetrack. He's looking for a late caution. He wants a little home cooking here near his hometown.
How about his teammate Kyle Busch? Jamie.
Well, they thought they were going to be a little bit short, so they were keeping their eye on the fuel gauge, but Adam Stevens told me they could go 58 laps, so watch the 18 to come. By the way, he's saying his car is very comfortable right now, happy with it, just doesn't have enough speed to contend with Truex, who's 4 seconds ahead. Here comes the 18.
So Kyle Busch pits with 56 laps to go. We'll see if this starts the cycle of green flag pit stops, or if other drivers will try to run out the tank.
Yeah, this is going to force the hand of the 78, decide what they're going to do.
I know one thing, do not run me out of fuel.
Truex is coming.
Here he comes. Good call.
Leader is in. 4 tires for Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin is in.
This is when it's just all about no mistakes. Cannot make any mistakes if you're in Martin Truex Jr.'s position.
Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin has made a few mistakes tonight in speeding and turning the wheel at the wrong time. He just hasn't been able to recover. He's in a 4-tire stop, Vince.
The 48 of Jimmy Johnson just a little too tight through the center, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment to help him with the balance, Matt.
Last time Martin Truex Jr. led the most laps, that was Texas. Left that night with a 3rd place finish. The car near perfect tonight. Solid stop, and he's away. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick is in as well as his teammate, the 41. Busch has been extremely tight this past run. They were going to try to reverse adjustments. Harvick was tight, but near the end of the run, it was great on entry and just as good on exit.
Earnhardt, Larson, DiBenedetto, Bain, and now Newman in along with Casey Kane.
Mike, another flawless stop by that 78 bunch. In and out, no problems.
Matt Kenseth is the leader. He's coming in this time. Vince?
It's been another very solid night for the 20, but unlike most races, they're hoping to get the finish to show for it tonight. They haven't gotten those throughout the course of the season. They're going to give Matt Kenseth a clear view out the window with a tear off. He's too loose in, so they made a chassis adjustment to snug up his entry. We'll see if it's enough. 4 tires and a little tape on the front end.
Almirola is done. Dillon is in along with Allmendinger. And Joey Logano takes over the lead. Second time he's led tonight. Is that Truex coming back?
Yes. I think it's Truex coming back.
No.
Oh, no.
Martin Truex is back on pit road. This is going to cost him at least a lap.
What
maybe
in the
more.
world could be the problem?
Did they just try to go too fast on that pit stop there,
it was a
DW?
flawless, fast pit stop, but I'm not sure why he came back.
Did they get all the lug nuts on?
That may be a question we'll have to get the answer to.
Matt.
And that's what he was saying all the way around the apron into turn 1. He said he could feel it vibrating. They're going to change all 4. What a heartbreaker. 8 times he has led the most laps. It's going to be hard to pull off a win here tonight.
Darrell, you said it in the mid-race report. If they didn't beat themselves, they should win this race.
Yeah, I've been thinking this has been too perfect a night for them. Nothing's gone wrong until now.
Vince.
Top 5 in 3 of the last 4 races for the rookie Chase Elliott. Not having that kind of run tonight. The car a little bit too tight through the middle and loose off. Air pressure and 4 tires to help him out.
Brad Keselowski is your leader. He and Danica Patrick are the 2 drivers on the lead lap who have not pitted in this cycle. Now Tony Stewart's still out there, as is Carl Edwards, because they were part of the later group to pit last time around.
Yep.
They can go a few more laps.
Hey, Keselowski, this is what you do when you have 2 wins. You gamble. You have everybody but 3 drivers a lap down. He's coming to pit road now.
All right, here's after the first pit stop. We listened in on Martin Truex and team.
What is it, guys? Right front. Wheel. If you got to make the call, there's good. We'll come. Tell if it's a right or a left. I'm coming to you. I think it's a front for sure because the brakes are getting screwy.
Matt?
Mike, the team felt like a lug nut got hung as they're looking it over between the hub and the wheel. You can see them with the flashlight looking it over. You can see the indentation. That's what they feel like happened to the right front of Martin Truex Jr. We've heard that a lot this year here on pit road.
Hey guys, that same thing happened to them just 2 or 3 races ago. It wasn't that they had a loose wheel, they had that lug nut hung behind the wheel just like right then. I think it may have been Bristol.
Yeah, well, he didn't even get, I mean, Larry, he came out of the pits, down on the pit road, they didn't get up on the racetrack.
And look who's leading. Tony Stewart.
Hey.
In his second full race of this season, he ran the distance at Richmond, got out of the car early at Talladega. Good call there. And
Mike,
now
this
is
race,
leading this race.
This race last year, he finished 39th and 35th in the 2 races here last year. Tonight, he's leading.
Danica Patrick just pitted, so that will leave Stewart and Edwards on the track of the drivers who last pitted at lap 170. Now Stewart leading will give him a bonus point. Remember, he's trying to get to the top 30 in points so that if he wins a race, he can make the chase. Now Carl Edwards is the other driver still out there from lap 170. Jamie?
And Carl Edwards saying he has a loose wheel, and they're telling him it's not worth the risk or reward. Just bring it in. They're talking about points. Carl's saying it's getting worse as he goes. They wanted to wait till about 6 more laps from now before they pitted, hoping for a caution, of course, for that track position. But Carl talking about the vibration getting worse.
Well, you talked about what Brad Keselowski could do with 2 wins in the bank. Carl has more to risk than to gain if he's got a bad vibration.
Oh, yeah. If it's vibrating and you're this close to your pit window, pit.
We're going to make a pit stop, but you're not going to miss a minute. 45 laps to go in Kansas. Tony Stewart, your leader. .41 laps to go. Tony Stewart is leading, but he will need one more pit stop. 18 cars on the lead lap. Stewart, the most recent of 10 leaders, 15 lead changes, and 4 caution flags. Now looking down when everybody pitted, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin were the first drivers on pit road in this cycle at lap 211. That means 56 laps on this tank of Sunoco race fuel. Let's compare them to the other lead drivers and when they were on pit road, remembering Tony Stewart has not yet been in.
Mike, just thinking about Tony Stewart, it's a little bit reminiscent of Texas. Remember when Trevor Bayne stayed out, led a bunch of laps? Even though he was out of sequence, he stayed out and led some laps. I thought that really was a turning point for that team, because next week they go to Bristol, they get a good top, I don't know, 5 or 6, 10, whatever it was, finish. And that car has been very good ever since they took that gamble and led those laps.
Now, Jeff, with the fall off, Tony is about 1 second slower than the other lead lap cars right now with worn tires, and they feel they may have some sort of engine issue. He's holding his own, but he's a little slower.
Yeah, he is. But, I mean, listen, they're in a position to be riskier than anybody out there. They not only need to be in the top 30 in points and have a ways to go there, but also, you know, they need that win. They have to get that win.
Hey, guys, on Kyle Busch, let's look at this. They pitted under green at lap 157 and then came back at 211. That right there was 54 laps with some caution laps, and we know that does not use as much fuel. Pitting at 211, that means he's going to have to go 56 green flag laps. Based on his last run, he cannot make that right there.
Well, Larry, you know, I've just been watching his lap times, and he's about 4 or 5 tenths a lap slower than the 20 behind him. I think he's conserving fuel. He's probably going to let that 20 close up to him and then hope that he's got enough to make it to the end.
Yeah, that time by 30.66 on Kyle, 30.28 on Kansas. So that's a big difference, 4 tenths.
I think he's just driving super conservative, trying to save fuel right now.
For the lead, Kyle Busch passes Tony Stewart. And Kyle has wins in the bank.
Well, it's time for now. Tony will probably pit now that he that Kyle got by him, so he'll probably come to pit road right away.
So certainly Kyle wants to check off Kansas as one of the 3 tracks right now and where he's never won a Sprint Cup race. But he has a little at risk with wins in the bank. 36 laps to go. Kyle Busch, the new leader. It's a whole new race in Kansas. Caution is out for the 5th time. Ricky Stenhouse got into the wall in turns 3 and 4. There he is going into 3, way up near the wall, right between 3 and 4. He gets into it.
He rides it all the way through 3 and 4.
Really get off of it.
Used it up pretty good.
The caution flies, and Tony Stewart, who had just pitted, is the free pass.
So does that mean that Martin Truex
I thought
Jr.
Truex
wasn't going to be the free pass?
The tower has called it as Tony Stewart.
Well, he was just on pit road. Stewart was.
And
I don't know
we'll
about
double
that
check.
I thought at 78 would be the free pass.
Well, if Stewart was on pit road when it happened, we might have another scenario like we had in Texas.
That's true, but remember, Stewart pitted. He had just lost the lead.
Right, yeah, and he came down, and then we ran at least 1 or 2 laps, didn't we?
Yeah. Can't remember now, but it was confusing. I know
it'll
that.
be another of those it depends situations, whether Stewart was still on pit road or whether he had actually exited back onto the racetrack.
Hey, guys, while I'm thinking about, I want to wish Bobby Tucker a happy 95th birthday.
Wow.
Been a fan of mine for half his life.
Fantastic. So, will everybody pit, and what will they do?
Mike, we have 18 drivers on the lead lap. I think you're going to see some drivers like Brad Keselowski, who was the last driver to pit under green. I bet he stays out, but I think if you're like Kyle Busch, you better come get 2 tires and make sure that thing's full of fuel. I think we'll see strategy all over the place.
Yeah, I was thinking that the 18, this caution is actually going to help him, so he'll probably stay out.
Kevin Harvick is in, Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and more. Vince.
Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car, loose on exit. Starts off tight, tries using the brakes to help it, but it's just a little bit too free. Chassis adjustment and 4 tires, Matt.
Balance much better for the 42 of Kyle Larson that run. No adjustments expected. Meanwhile, the 4 of Harvick, they're going to go 4 tires unless Rodney calls an audible, which he isn't. You can see they're getting the lugs on. He's had a vibration during this run, much similar to what his teammate Tony Stewart, the comments have made from the 14 camp.
Now there's the race off pit road. Let's go back to the moment of caution and review Tony Stewart versus Martin Truex Jr. Now here's Tony Stewart coming off pit road, off in the distance. Here's Martin Truex.
Caution. Yeah, so basically they freeze the field at that moment when the caution came out.
Look at that beast behind me. On pit road, just the timing of it. They threw that caution for Tony. That's pretty amazing right there. I told you.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of frustration.
Yeah,
you know, those guys, unfortunately.
He didn't see the 17 in the wall.
Oh, boy. Jimmy Johnson, too fast exiting.
You know, that last section, I don't know if it was that last section.
So Johnson will have to restart tail end of the longest line.
Oh, man.
He doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
It's a whole new race with 29 laps to go. Green next time. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth chose not to pit on this caution. Jamie.
Adam Stevens on the box with the call for Kyle Busch. So are you pretty confident right now on your fuel situation to the end?
Fuel situation's good. You know, when you're the leader, you're in a bad spot. I really felt like with that amount of tires, they weren't going to do us any good, and certainly they would have done the opposite. We've seen that plenty of times through the years. So our only chance to win is to stay out, but we've got our work cut out for us for sure.
Can you imagine Kyle Busch winning right here at Kansas? That would be big.
Something that's never happened. Now the lead cars stayed out, the front row. The second row cars, Larson and Keselowski took 2 tires. Then Harvick took 4. Hamlin took 2. Everybody else got 4 fresh tires. Oh boy.
This thing is anything but over.
Clear the apron. We're coming down.
Watch for wheel spin on that front row with those older tires.
There's the restart box.
18 gets away. 22's down on the flat trying to get under Harvick.
Oh, he did this earlier to Harvick.
He made it.
Do it again.
There.
Well,
Sparks
you see the
fly.
fires fly when he went on the apron, come back on the track. That 22.
Logano needs a win.
Yeah, and guess what? He won here last fall.
Matt Kenseth, Kyle Larson each need a win. Boy, 2 speeding penalties, and Denny Hamlin is right in the mix. Despite that.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing that he was able to do that. All that he's been through and still up here possibly going to battle for this lead.
Boy, Hamlin got a great launch off the outside.
He's going to go up the middle. Look at this. 3 wide.
Well, Kyle Larson wasn't going anywhere. Hamlin had to make himself some room.
No!
Oh,
that ain't gonna work.
Lock it down right there if you can.
Are you kidding me?
How crazy was that when the 2 cars started to spin? It's like it took the air off the 11.
What in the world?
That was one of the wildest spins I've ever seen by 2 cars that weren't really touching one another.
Yeah, but when you go in that corner 3 abreast.
Risk versus reward.
My.
Hamlin went for the split.
He did.
Didn't turn out too good.
That was a 7-10 split in the Go Bowling 400.
I just think he drove in the corner so hard, there's no way you just can't make it.
Yeah, but why did the 2 spin? That's the thing. He started to spin, then all of a sudden, it's like the air off the 42 sucked the 11 around at the same time.
Let's take a look at this and see if we can figure out what. Here's 11 right here in the middle, trying to go 3 wide. He gets up in there.
It's a bold move, really aggressive. I mean, I like the idea.
You see that? A 22 gave the 42 a shot.
He sucks the 2 around, but look how it turned him.
Sucks
the 2 right around, and the 11 goes into the 42, and here comes Logano, and bam, right into the 11.
Joey Logano, wrong place, wrong time. Everybody else trying to check up here.
I think they were packing air.
They were moving air.
But moving some air.
Here's another look.
Watch his 2 car. He just comes around. There he goes around, but then that just shoves the 11 sideways, and he goes up into Kyle Larson.
I understand why the 2 got sideways. I just never could imagine why that 11 turned sideways like that. But hey, that's the risk you're going to take when you take it 3 wide in the middle.
All the drivers are out of their cars and okay. Those that did not come back around to the garage. There's one more look.
Goodness gracious. Right here is bold. I mean, you're going in here.
Well, the 42 didn't get off turn 2 well. Hamlin didn't want to lift.
I can't blame him.
No.
You know, he's been in the back all day. He's been wanting to mix it up with these leaders, and now here he is. He had the opportunity.
Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch scoot through. So does Harvick, Blaney, and Dillon.
Wow.
Remember, this is the advantage you also have by having a win and already being locked into the chase. You can take big risks like that. I know you don't like that, DW, but
all right, you're riding with
kind of action. Trying to go 3 wide bottom, 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 3 wide. Okay.
Now let's go back to all the way back to the restart. And you made mention of Joey Logano trying to help Kevin Harvick down the straightaway.
Yeah, well, he gets right here.
Helping him.
Then he gets down under. He gives him a push, gets Harvick going. Harvick tries to block the apron, but then the 22 goes to the apron and forces his way up in front of the 4 right here of Kevin Harvick. See the sparks fly.
I can tell you, if Kevin Harvick was frustrated from some of their stuff they had earlier, he's really frustrated. That's twice in one race at 22. He's taking them 3 wide into turn 1.
But listen, the 22 got into the back of the 42 going down the back straightaway into turn 3.
Looks like it won't happen a third time. Well, here's what Brad had to say.
This guy right out my corner spun me out before I even got to the corner. Oh, tight race. I mean, we were 3 wide down the back.
And all of this happening without contact.
Sucked that 2 right around, and then that just, I don't know, air or something got
I
the
don't
11.
think anybody hit the 2.
No, he
I
just
don't know
sucked him around.
But I'm just wondering, I'm saying after this wreck, I don't know what kind of damage he has. I know the hood really buckled. See the roof flap come up there on the 2?
Yep.
They can look at that. Look at that hood peeling back there.
Yeah. Harvick slides by.
And Denny Hamlin's looking at it as we look at it. Jamie?
Well, Denny Hamlin fought his way back to the top 5 there. You're watching the replay. What did you see?
I was going in there 3 wide. I wasn't letting off, and the 42 was just too close up there. It wasn't his fault by any means, but we were both trying to drive in there to clear each other, and I just got loose. And I mean, it's crazy there was no contact, but both me and the 2 got loose there. But shame. I mean, I screwed us on pit road twice. Our car was a fast car today. Just didn't show it. We're just in the back because I sped twice. I got to get better on pit lane to give us a chance. And then, I was just going for it there because I knew our car had some speed. I was on 2 tires, and the guys in front of me right there were on none or 2. So I was just going for it. Got the win, and it's part of this format is going for it, and that's what we did.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Denny.
So Hamlin is out. Larson is damaged after riding the wall with the right side. Allmendinger's car got wrecked. And oh, by the way, Martin Truex Jr. gets the free pass. So Kyle Busch is the leader. Remember, he did not stop under the last caution, nor did Matt Kenseth in second place. Kurt Busch and everyone from there on back did.
But they took 4 tires on the last stop. Those others that were battling up there took 2. These drivers have a big advantage, if you ask me right now, because they're out there now with 4 fresh tires.
Joey Logano released from the care center. Allmendinger still going there. Actually, it was Logano's car that got all torn up, not Allmendinger. Nice night for Young Guns. Ryan Blaney in 5th, Austin Dillon in 6th, Chase Elliott in 9th, Ricky Stenhouse 10th. Last night in the truck race, we had this kind of racing and a wild finish. 18-year-old William Byron, who started outside pole, ended up in victory lane of that one.
This one ain't over with yet, my friend.
No, sir.
Oh, no.
Vince?
With Joey Logano, some pushing on the restart, a little pushing on the backstretch, a lot of contact there, and ultimately you just got caught up in it. What happened?
Yeah, just everyone racing hard. It's just racing, but at the end of the race, and you get some guys with old tires, some guys with 2 tires, some with 4 tires, and you just seen the 2 probably. The 2 got loose, and then the 11 got loose, and right about here I couldn't see anything. I was just staying up there hoping that the 11 would come down the hill, and just never did, and hit him. So kind of stinks. 2 weeks in a row we're sitting here walking out of the infield care center. So overall I thought our car was decent. We've definitely made gains on it. I thought at the end we had a shot at winning it, actually, if we could make some good passes and get to the lead. And it's just racing. Things happen.
Glad you're okay. Mike?
Joey Logano had a 5-race top 5 streak going at Kansas.
I was really happy that we were able to talk to Denny Hamlin and that he walked out of the infield care center okay. You never want to see an impact in the driver's side door like that.
Yeah, and Jeff, I agree. We're coming down here with just 20-odd laps to go, and those guys have got wins, and they're going.
Now, our pre-race aired on Fox Business Channel. Our thanks to them, as the Cubs game ran a bit late. If you weren't tuned into Fox Business, you may have missed Jason Vivoni talking about the season that Matt Kenseth has had coming to Kansas.
Listen right now, I got a story to tell. Wisconsin, who's under a spell. Boogie, boogie. Some drivers are cursed, but Matt's got it worse. His car is on track, but he's stuck in reverse. The pit roads had its pitfalls between black flags and missed calls from loose lug nuts in the pit stalls to changing the battery when it stalls. And go ask Joe, he'll tell you the deal. There ain't no friends behind the wheel. That clock was his, and Daytona, please. Who needs foes when you got teammates like these?
And around she goes into Kenseth, up in the air and into the wall.
This guy just has not been able to catch a break.
They've had throughout the course of the season. Add this one to the list.
Kenseth needs something good to happen today.
So that's the story of the man in the 20. It's hard to find glory with problems aplenty. This season gave Matt his fair share of abuse, but there ain't no place like Kansas City for curing the blues.
Jason Vivoni, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Kenseth's season, trying to get back on track, have his first top 5 of the season and notch a win. He will restart second to teammate Kyle Busch. We know, boy, do we know after Richmond, there's no team orders at Joe Gibbs Racing, but when one teammate has a win and has punched his ticket into the chase and the other hasn't, do you cut a buddy some slack?
Well, think about this. Kyle Busch wants to win this race. He's never won here. So he's got a little something to race for here. It's not like he's just going to roll over. And I think it's going to be just what we've seen with these two. They're going to race hard.
Well, and I think, you know, for Matt Kenseth, he wants to cure the blues. And he's going to have the restart of his life because he's got 4 tires lined up behind him. Coach certainly doesn't want to cause any blues to the coach here.
Coach is saying, I got to put on this every week.
Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick right behind them, then Blaney and Dillon. The most famous Kansas City blues man was Big Joe Turner, and we're about to do what he sang of. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Let them go, boys. Might take a train, and he might take a plane.
19 laps to go, and they take the green. Here we go.
Kevin Harvick creeping to the outside of the 20. That outside lane has just really been the way to go on these restarts.
Yeah, you just get such a run off that corner, Jeff. It gives you some great straightaway speed. They're able to take advantage down here in 3 and 4.
7 of the drivers in the top 10 looking for their first win of the year.
Boy, that's not what Matt Kenseth wanted to see.
I'm not sure that's what Kyle Busch wanted to see either, because that 4 earlier in the race, middle of the race, was pretty darn fast.
And even though he's back on the lead lap, Martin Truex Jr. way back in 17th with 18 laps to go. And traffic ahead.
And he's got to play it real smart right now, you know, because he's not in a position where he's going to win this race. He still wants to get the most points out of this race.
Yeah, he just needs to finish now. You're not going to win, so just finish the race. Do the best you can. And I tell you, Harvick's going to make a race out of this.
Yes, he is. So
3 wide.
Stenhouse and Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here comes Keselowski.
Good time to go for a nationwide. Dale Jr. inside ride.
Door, middle of the track. 48's trying to follow. Still lined up out there. 48's there. 48's there. Drive off his door here. You'll see him right there. No pressure behind him there. Just the 48. You're clear on behind him. And still there, just the 48. Door, third groove. Bumper, clear by 1, clear by 1. Clear, 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 clear. 14's inside of him. Good job.
Very busy back there at 12th place as Kevin Harvick hunts the lead.
I tell you, he's going to get it. Harvick's is a little bit better, particularly in 3 and 4, and he is all over the back bumper of that M&M's car.
It's just going to be all about going wherever that 18 isn't. He really worked good around the bottom right here. The last lap through here. Oh, he gets a little bit loose there.
But you know who's coming into the picture also is Kurt Busch right here behind these two cars. He's closing up pretty darn fast too.
Behind him, Matt Kenseth 4th and fading. Ryan Blaney 5th. Then Allmendinger, Dillon, Newman, Edwards, and Elliott. The top 10.
Well, that was a really good turn 3 and 4 for Kyle Busch. Actually pulled up away from the 4 a little bit.
Kyle Larson's gone to pit road. A lot of smoke from the back of his car. 14 to go.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is able to put just a little distance between he and Kevin Harvick now. And I don't know how if Harvick's car has fallen off a little bit. Maybe, maybe not.
13th place. Guess Keselowski's car was not damaged in that spin as he holds off Johnson and Earnhardt.
Yeah, well, I just don't know if Kevin's going to be able to. I mean, Kyle's leaving just enough down on the bottom for Kevin to hook that white line and close up on him. But I just don't know about
now
getting by him.
This is 6th place.
If Kevin Harvick can get close enough to Kyle Busch and force Kyle into making a mistake, which is pretty hard to do, but that's his option right now.
But boy, Kyle wants this thing bad too, because he wants to check this one off his box of tracks he's never won at before.
But you got a Kevin Harvick breathing down your back.
Oh, look at this run. Kevin's going to get on the outside here. Oh man, he just ran out of racetrack a little bit off of 2.
But isn't this a familiar refrain on the 1.5-mile tracks? Getting to the leader is one thing. Getting around him is quite another.
Yeah, I think Harvick's going to move around a little bit here. We saw him run a little higher in 3 and 4 that time. He's not going to be able to get by Kyle running in his tracks. He's going to have to find another way around here.
You know, this is where that shorter spoiler really plays out and allows that car to get a little bit closer than what we have seen in the past. So it's going to affect him, but not as much as in the past.
Hey, Kurt Busch is coming.
No kidding.
And fast.
As long as those two, as long as Kyle and Kevin keep fooling around here, Kurt Busch will be right in the middle of this.
Oh, great move by Harvick. He almost got there.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to get that line on the outside.
That was a power move right there.
I know this is Derby Day, but this right here is going to be a 3-horse race in another lap or 2.
Look at Kyle moving up to block that higher line.
I think he saw that that's a little bit more speed. Kyle Busch moved up into that fast lane.
Well, he's going to have to move up here in 3 and 4 as well.
Yeah, this is where Kevin's a little bit better. He gets down here.
But Kevin will go to the bottom now. This is the advantage you have by being in second.
Kyle Busch is so, I mean, he's just so good. He's so smart. You give him the lead, good luck getting it away from him.
Kyle's truck won last night in a last-second race to the caution flag. 18-year-old William Byron. So here's Kyle trying to do something he's never done and win at Kansas. Well, I thought Kurt Busch would be there, but he is no longer making any gains on the lead duo.
No, they've kind of settled in here a little bit. I know Kyle wants to, I think Kyle has 32 wins at Gibbs, and Tony Stewart has 33. This would tie him with Tony for the most wins at Gibbs. He has 1 championship. Tony has 2 driving for Gibbs. I know those are important goals for that kid.
A lot of smoke from Ricky Stenhouse's car. Had some contact with Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, he's starting to inch away a little bit now. Kyle Busch is easing away from the 4.
7 laps to go.
I really think Kevin's just regrouping a little bit. He's going to step back there a little bit, search around.
No, you know what happened? Kyle moved up a little bit. Kyle moved up into the center of the racetrack and really increased his speed.
Like you said, DW, just really smart heads-up driving by Kyle.
Guys, I can't say enough about that 18 car. Just remember, they have 22 more laps on this set of tires than Kevin Harvick. That's almost a half of a fuel run.
Kyle Busch trying to check one of those 3 remaining racetracks off the list of those on which he has not won.
Now look at Kevin Harvick really searching. He's sliding around, pushing hard. He's going to try everything he can to find a line that can work to gain that gap back.
I think now he's worried about his teammate because Kyle Busch he's gotten away. Now he's got to be sure not to give up second place. Kevin Harvick in the 4.
5 laps to go.
And I tell you, we got a good battle here for these guys running up front. But we got to look at the 21 car and the 3 car. Those guys are 31. They're all Allmendinger. All of them back here, pretty good shape.
Where did Austin Dillon come from?
Isn't that something?
We haven't seen him all day. Those guys know how to fight and battle and get those great finishes at the end of the day.
Yeah, running 6.
And Blaney, the rookie, 7th here last fall. Top 5 right now.
Just a great job by really all the children's cars. You look at the 3, the 31, and the 47. They're all right there, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And Chase Elliott, he fought himself back up into a top 10.
Pole sitter Martin Truex passing Jimmy Johnson, going to 14th place after having to make a double pit stop 2 cautions ago.
Yeah, boy, look at Kyle stretch it out.
He's long gone.
I mean, he's sailing now. This shows you the strength of Gibbs, the strength of Kyle Busch, the determination.
And remember, 2 cautions ago, he stayed out. He's not been to pit road since lap 211.
I really thought that the 4 tires of the 41, the 4 were just going to eat them up. I mean, they got by the 20 right away, but weren't able to do really much of anything other than get close to the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Jeff, right now Kyle Busch is in his prime. This is prime time for him. 30 years old. He's made all the mistakes. He's all the lessons. He's learned everything he needs to know, and now he's capitalizing.
I don't know. I think it's prime time for that guy on the left in your screen as well, Joe Gibbs. Wow, they are strong.
Kyle leads Kevin Harvick by 1.2 seconds. White flag waves. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
I think he's going to be in as much disbelief over this win as anything else, just because of this track and what it's done to him over the years, how hard it's been on him.
4 DNFs at Kansas coming in tonight. It's his 17th start here. Never has he finished better than 3rd at Kansas. Kyle Busch, 37 victories.
Oh, Kansas! Yes! Way to go, Adam Stevens. Great job, boys.
That's his 10th 1.5-mile track win, including 3 of the last 5. Wife Samantha joins in the celebration. 3rd win of 2016. The first driver to do so. And this is the 7th full-time season that Kyle has had at least 3 victories. For Joe Gibbs Racing, 4th win at Kansas with 4 different drivers.
Coach up in the middle of the team here. They have that prayer after the race is over with.
They look like an M&M's bag. Look at all the different colors on those uniforms. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's 75th anniversary for M&M's, and it's a big deal.
Kyle Busch taking home the checkered flag as tonight's Sunoco fueling victory.
Now that is a good burnout.
He's scorching them hides.
That's awesome.
He's had a little practice, you know.
Yes, he has.
Let's have a look at tonight's 5-hour energy big move of the race. The final restart against teammate Matt Kenseth, who needs a win. Kyle Busch drives away. He had to hold off Kevin Harvick to do it. Gets that big run on the outside and drives off to victory lane. Captures the flag.
I tell you, there's rubber dust flying off the back of the car. That's all rubber dust that he just laid down there. big chunk of the tire just flew off the car.
It's a great shot.
He burned them down. Look at that.
Yeah, oh my
Tore
gosh,
the quarter
look at the
panel
quarter
off the
panels.
thing. Woo.
Kevin Harvick finishes second. Here's Vince Welch.
Got a great restart there on that final restart. Looked like you were going to be able to chase him down. What was the difference in not being able to get around him?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I got tight. I hit a big piece of debris down there about 6 or 7 laps into the run, and from that point on, I just got really tight. But just got to thank everybody from the Stewart Haas team, Jimmy Johns, Outback, Busch, Mobile, Dytek, everybody from Chevrolet for everything that they do. I mean, we overhauled this thing this morning to try to get it close, and they did a great job. So just got to thank Hunt Brothers, Morton Buildings, Bad Boy, everybody on this team. It's going to be a long week, but we're going to go do some testing this week and have fun with it.
Yeah, second place, Kevin Harvick. Jamie?
172 laps led tonight, and then the loose wheel. I know you said it's like a broken record. What was that feeling like the moment you felt something wrong?
Couldn't believe it. Went around 1 and 2, is like, damn, wheel's loose. And kept telling myself, maybe it's not, maybe it's just shaking because it's got tape on it or something stupid, but it was loose, so I knew right away. But frustrating, but it's how it goes.
We have 3 good tracks coming up for you. You guys feel like right now is your time? You're going to get a win here in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, we're going to win some races for sure. We keep bringing cars like that, we're going to win some. It's just, it's frustrating when you've had it happen so many times in your career. I mean, it's, I swear, you watch guys win races that don't have the best car and on fuel mileage and all this stuff, and it's like, damn. Well, someday I'm going to get on one of those, on that side of one of them. That's usually dominate and don't win, so it's tough, but it happens. It's part of racing.
Thanks, Martin. Vince?
Matt Kenseth, 4th place. Well, better than some of the weeks you've had, that's for sure, but I know it's not what you wanted. Was it as simple as saying you just kept getting in the wrong line of the restart, or was the car not quite there?
You know, it's our best finish of the year, so that's the bright side, and I'm sort of happy for Kyle and Adam, but seriously happy for everybody at JGR. Martin had him covered, and I don't know what happened to him in the pits or whatever, but I thought, between a 2nd and 4th place car most of the day. I thought we were as good as 18 if we could have had the position, but I just, it was tough restarting that bottom. I tried something different that last time to try to lay back and get the pass, but once we were single file, I just couldn't go get them. So we're just a little off, but these guys had great pit stops, great adjustments, and we seem to be getting closer.
First top 5 of the season for Matt Kenseth. Chris?
Well, a night of more heartbreak than heroics when you hear Matt Kenseth speak along with Martin Truex Jr., but the celebration for Kyle Busch with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers. Nice to have you watching the post-race show here from Kansas Saturday night on FS1. And the Toyotas continue to dominate. We've been through 11 races now, and there's the 18. 6 of them won by Toyotas. And, of course, he is the first 3-time winner this season as we look at the Chase standings, and he came in one of 4 2-time winners. You win, you're in. What's interesting, Michael, is there's only 6 spots in the Chase have really been locked up so far.
And, you know, just what the driver's attitude are in 2016, the way Denny Hamlin charged that corner, took them 3 wide. It's win and you're in, and these guys are going for it. That's why we see such entertaining races. I could not believe Kevin Harvick couldn't get to Kyle Busch. That just shows you how strong that Toyota was.
And Kyle Busch, his last 32 races, he now has 8 wins. That every 4 races he wins, and he's celebrating. Matt Yoakum is in victory lane.
A Busch sweep in Kansas, an owner win on Friday night, and tonight as a driver, a big check mark on his racing resume. Nothing motivates you more than doing something you haven't done before. How huge is this one for you?
This is pretty big. Man, there's been a lot of rough days here at Kansas, that's for sure, and a lot of good ones too, but man, I just can't say enough about everyone on this team, everyone on this M&M's Camry. This thing was awesome tonight, and through the beginning, middle part of the race, we weren't great, but Adam Stevens and the guys, they just kept digging on it, kept working on it, and you know, 78 was probably the fastest car, but we kept ourselves in the game, so you know, it's pretty impressive. Can't say enough about Interstate. NOS Energy Drink, Toyota, of course, Sprint, and what they do for our sport, what they've done for our sport, of course the fans too, and everybody can help celebrate with us with Red Nose Day and hashtag Make M Laugh and have some fun. We appreciate M&M's being a supporter of Red Nose Day.
Total team effort, but was the call by Adam Stevens the deciding factor?
Which one? He makes a lot of them. He makes a lot of good calls too, and proud to have Adam Stevens on my pit box. You know, he does a really good job. So You know, the call to stay out, yeah, certainly. I thought clean air was best. I knew we had some laps on our tires, but still I thought our car was really good out front. I was a little worried about Matt. I'm not sure what happened to him on that restart, and then Harvick hounded me for a few laps, and he raced me really clean. He had a couple opportunities, once off of 4 especially, that kind of cut him off a little bit. But when you're clear, you're clear. You take that chance, and I took that chance. We've got a couple wins, and from there, you know, I ran the line that I was running before the caution came out, and I picked up speed. So why I wasn't there beforehand, I don't know. But it certainly worked out for us. Real impressed to be here, and real impressed to be working with this team.
Martinsville, Texas, Kansas. Up next, he's got Charlotte and Pocono looking to put a win in his win column with those racetracks.
And at age 31, the only tracks he hasn't won currently on the circuit are Pocono and Kentucky. The hug from Samantha. They've been doing quite a bit of that lately. You know, at this race last year, at the 11th race mark, Jimmy Johnson was the 3-time winner for the season, and so far Kyle Busch hits that mark.
Season best finish for Kenseth. But look at our rookies. Ryan Blaney up in the top 5. Chase Elliott down in 9th. Those two just continue to impress. Tony Stewart, another notch toward getting enough points to be in the top 30. Just needs that win.
Clint Boyer did get a top 20 finish, along with Danica Patrick right at 20. And Trevor Bayne, who had been running well, qualified well, winding up 25th.
Jamie McMurray right off the bat with the body adjustments. NASCAR called him pit road, never could get that back. And some guys down in the bottom of the lineup that had some issues all night long.
And don't forget, coming up here on FS1, Monster Energy Supercross, but still some things to discuss here. So let's rejoin Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Jeff Gordon.
Well, that was wild. I mean, Talladega was incredibly wild, but after last night's thriller in the Truck Series, I didn't think we could quite equal that. But boy, caution after caution, restart after restart. Awesome race.
And we knew those restarts were going to be a big factor, and boy, wasn't it, when Denny Hamlin went 3 wide up the middle between Kyle Larson and the 2 of Brad Keselowski, which set up that final restart. And I thought those 4 tires were going to get to Kyle Busch and maybe make him pay for staying out, but it didn't. He continues to build on such an impressive resume already.
Yeah, and poor Martin Truex Jr. I mean, he and Cole Pern, I don't know. I was so afraid that they were going to beat themselves, and they did. Yeah. And that's unfortunate for those guys. They had a dominant car. And Kyle Busch never has one here, and he wanted to check that off, and he was able to do that. So, overall, great night of racing.
Well, next week we go to Martin Truex's home track, back to Dover, Delaware. Looking forward to have some fun there, Chris.
All right, thanks, Mike. And, guys, a rookie has never won this race as the crew for Kyle Busch celebrates in victory lane. But the rookies, Chase Elliott finishing 9th, and Ryan Blaney, the highest finishing Ford. He winds up 5th after Dave Blaney, his dad, was involved in that wreck. Turned out to be okay the other night at Eldora.
Yeah, I talked to Kenny Schrader, who spoke with Dave Blaney, and he said Dave said he was going to be really sore for a few days, but he made it through that terrible crash. And I know tonight had to put a smile on his face.
Yeah, one of these rookies will win soon at some point this year. Vince Welch is with Ryan.
Season best 5th place finish for Ryan Blaney. Well done. How'd you describe that one tonight?
It was just a good night overall, really. Started off pretty good, and when the track cooled off, I felt like we lost a little bit of speed. I felt like everyone got a little bit better, and we kind of maintained, but we didn't really gain speed like most other cars, and we got a little bit better at the end there. And I thought that last restart, I'm like, man, we're 5th. A little fresher tires. I think me and a couple other guys in the front row had older stuff. Like, man, we might have a shot at it if we get clear, but the 20 and the 18, they were really fast, and I just couldn't quite get alongside the 20 to try to make a run towards the front. But just a solid day. I got to thank Motorcraft and Quick Lane and Ford for all they do, and I think that's just something to build off of.
Yeah, solid indeed. 5th place, Ryan Blaney.
All right, thanks, Ryan and Vince. So Kurt Busch, along with Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth, Earnhardt Jr., Truex, all guys who had wins last year, were in the chase. In fact, if you look at Logano and Kenseth, a combined 11 wins for the year, winless so far.
Yeah, 5 last year, amazing year for Matt Kenseth, but he can't get it done yet in 2016. But I just think the story has to be the speed of the 78 car. We saw it at Texas on a 1.5 mile. We saw it here. He loves Dover. That car will be strong there. Look for him to be the next guy to break into the win column.
All right, and Kurt Busch looked like he might put on a run, but faded at the end. He's standing by with, again, Vince Welch.
Kurt Busch, so close. 3rd place tonight. You guys, I know you're coming, but what was the difference for you guys tonight?
Man, we're good. We're doing everything right. We just got to find that last little step to be great. Tony Gibson, great crew chief, really knows how to lead these guys. and we're just knocking on the door in all the right areas. We just got to put it together for that total piece. But thanks to Gene Haas, everybody at Haas Automation, Monster Energy, Chevrolet, we're right there. I mean, we're so far the best car that hasn't won a race, and I know if we keep this effort up, it'll come to us.
Knocking on the door, third place for Kurt Busch.
All right, those drivers, Vince, that consider this track their hometown track or close to it with the location, and Martin Truex Jr. out in Denver would be on that list as well. But Carl Edwards, Jamie McMurray from Missouri, from Kansas, the only driver from Kansas is Clint Boyer, and disappointing night overall for them. Well, let's check in with Jamie Little, who's standing by with Carl Edwards.
What a night for Carl Edwards. His home track, had a great car. Then you get into the wall, cut a tire, you go down 2 laps, but you guys never gave up. You finished just outside the top 10. Carl, what was the rest of the night like once you got into the wall?
It's just a battle, and you know, we've had some really good luck, and things have gone our way. And Dave said it best. Dave Rogers said, you know, our team's not going to be defined by these last few weeks. It's going to be defined by how we deal with nights like tonight. And I'm really proud of my guys. We never quit, and yeah, I mean, 11th isn't great, but we made up 2 laps, and I feel like we learned some stuff. Congrats to Kyle. I know this place has been a thorn in his side, but you know, for us, if we couldn't have our Stanley Toyota in victory lane, we're happy for him. And we got a chance to win somebody $1 million next week at Dover with Stanley's and Ace Hardware Foundation. So hopefully we can bring it then. Thank you.
We'll have more from Kansas here on FS1, like a superhero conquering a track he had previously not won on in the M&M's Toyota. Kyle Busch goes bowling here in Kansas.
Next week, Fox NASCAR hits the East Coast to take on the Monster Mile and all of its mayhem. This short track can leave you with quite a bruising, unless your name is Jimmy Johnson, who's tamed this place 10 times. It all goes down next Sunday at 11:30 Eastern, starting with race day on FS1.
Kyle Busch will be going for another win this season. Can he get his 4th at the 12 race mark? Well, he'll have to overcome Jimmy Johnson at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware, where Jimmy Johnson has won 10 times there. So the winners list so far, you win, you're in the chase, and then you get to do aggressive things like we saw Denny Hamlin try to do, Michael, when he admitted, hey, I tried to drive through some people after those pit road penalties to get back to the front.
And don't you love it? and they blame it on the racing. You know, that's what the format sets us up for. We've got to go. We've got to go for it at the end. That was an interesting spin, though. Hamlin dives in the corner. Keselowski goes around. He goes around, collects some other cars. But that's what we are in 2016. We're going to mat it. We're going to go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, drivers aggressive. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski were caught up in that. So let's talk about Martin Truex Jr. and the frustration of tonight, but going to a place where at least he's had some success.
Yeah, he won his first Sprint Cup race there back in 2007. And think about Truex. He's only won one race in his last 100 starts or so. But every week we talk about the speed of him. And he talked tonight about how he would like to be on the other side of it one time. Give me a slow car. Just get me to victory lane somehow. He's had the speed. They just haven't had the luck.
And the race will be on FS1 next Sunday, 11:30, with the expanded pre-race show, and then the race itself, and then the All-Star race 2 weeks from tonight, also on FS1. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
What a great night for Austin Dillon. We didn't hear much about him throughout the whole race, and then suddenly Jeff Gordon says, where did he come from? What kind of night did you guys have, once again, with that consistency there at the end?
Yeah, it was another solid night for our American Ethanol Chevy. And I want to say, first of all, thanks to all the moms out there. Hope you guys have a happy Mother's Day, especially mine. She's back at home. Can't wait to go see her tomorrow. And my grandma's birthday is tomorrow. So, yeah, good Lord bless us with another run. And just kept plugging along all night. I think we found some stuff on our adjustments as the race went on. We just got better and better. So that was fun there at the end. A little bit more, we'll have a win before too long.
6 top 10 finish for Austin Dillon.
One of the drivers trending upward, a strong force of young drivers, 25 or younger. At 31, Kyle Busch, the reigning NASCAR champ, hoping for more. And coming up, the 2016 Monster Energy Supercross finale from Las Vegas. You'll want to stay with us on FS1, but more on his victory in Kansas when we continue. And that's 8-year-old Michael from Buffalo, New York. One of those things you can't script. Make-A-Wish Foundation, a Kyle Busch fan. And Kyle saw him before the race, said, if I win, you come see me in victory lane. And that's where he is. Kyle smiling, and so is Michael, the young fan, and all of those that were involved in the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The dominance, the Hall of Fame coach, who's had success, of course, in NASCAR and dominating with his Toyotas. And it was funny, in our production meeting, we meet with, you heard Jeff Gordon, Michael, talking about, well, what's going on with these Toyotas here? They seem to have some kind of advantage. And Michael, each week in the race, they enter fewer cars than Chevys or Fords in the race.
And you look at the poles they won and the races they won. And Chris, in the history of NASCAR, I've never seen dominance like this that people didn't say their engines are better. They've got faster engines. In this case, everybody thinks those cars are just engineered out better. Maybe Gibbs just has a better process to get the results out of the cars he has. He's been really impressive, and we know what they've done on pit road. That's been a big piece of it too.
And outstanding drivers taking advantage. Coming up next, Monster Energy Supercross from Las Vegas. Happy birthday, Lynn Mignani, our logistics coordinator and escape artist. And Maggie Darst, happy Mother's Day to you and all the moms out there. She's heading home to her kids. All right, thanks for watching NASCAR on FS1. Happy Mother's Day.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all